and we are having this program. So a lot of people from other places are also joining. We have people that are also in different countries that will be joining us. So I would like to inform all of us that if you are joining from any chapter, kindly kindly add the chapter to your name so that we can acknowledge your chapter. If you're a chapter executive, please add your position to your name so that we can acknowledge your chapter as well. So before we start, I think we have to start our program. And in that, what I do, I would like to invite Honorable Dominic from Beijing chapter to help us with the opening prayer. Then after that, we can start our program. So once again, welcome everyone to join this session of the academic program. So Honorable Dominic from Beijing chapter, if you're around, please kindly lead us through a very short opening prayer, then we can commence our program. Honorable Dominic, please, are you around? Okay, so if Honorable Dominic is not around, do you have anyone joining from Beijing chapter that can lead us through a very short opening prayer?
No, but he says he's around, but he cannot access his microphone.
Okay, so I think any member from Beijing chapter can help us. Honorable members from Beijing chapter, please, can you help us with an opening prayer? Any member can just pray, a Muslim, a Christian, traditionalist, any member from Beijing chapter can help us with the opening prayer. I think our honorable members from Beijing are not, I don't know. Okay, can anyone just volunteer to pray for us so that we start the program? Honorable President, please pray for us.
Okay. Shall we pray? Our Father in heaven, we thank you tonight for the meeting. We commit it into your hands. We pray committing our speakers into your hands and the listeners as well, the participants. Lord, we pray that everything we'll discuss here will be good. We'll remember that we'll have a good time. And then at the end, we'll have cause to thank you. In Jesus' name, we have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Honorable Isaac, for that powerful prayer. So, as I said earlier on, today's session of the program is being organized by NUGS Changsha Chapter, and we are collaborating with NUGS Beijing Chapter, NUGS Nanchang Chapter, and NUGS Taiyuan Chapter. So, I would like to acknowledge the presence of my fellow executives from Changsha Chapter. And also, I would like to acknowledge the presence of executives from NUGS Taiyuan Chapter. And I would like to also acknowledge the presence of NUGS Nanchang Chapter and NUGS Beijing Chapter. Thank you, honorable members, for organizing your people to join this program that I'll be having this evening. And also, we have the national, that is NEC executives that have joined. We have our honorable Eugene San Owusu-Ampah, who is the national organizer here. We acknowledge your presence. We acknowledge the presence of all other executives from other chapters. Please add your position to your name so that I can acknowledge you officially. Okay, the president of Nanchang chapter, Honorable Moses, we acknowledge your presence. Okay. I've seen a representative from Tsinghua, Honorable Kwabena from Tsinghua. We acknowledge your presence. Sefas, Honorable Sefas from Taiyuan, Taiyuan SG. We acknowledge your presence. Arama, Honorable Arama from Nanchang chapter. We acknowledge your presence. Okay, so Nanchang Vincent, Honorable Vincent Nanchang, Hanjo, Honorable Lazarus Hanjo, we acknowledge your presence. Okay, so please try to add your name, your chapter, and also if you're having any position, add your position to your name so that I'll be able to acknowledge you properly. So with this moment, I would like to invite our Honorable I would like to invite Honorable Erica from Taiyuan Chapter, who is going to give us the opening remarks for us to know why we've gathered this evening and what actually the program or the seminar is about. So, Honorable Erica, if you are around, please, you can give us the opening remarks.
Can I be heard?
Yes, you can be
Please,
heard.
can I be heard clearly? Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. Good evening, family. Hello.
Honorable,
Hello.
it seems your network is kind of maybe.
It's breaking.
Okay. Is it clear now? Is it?
It's not that clear. We can't hear.
Amazing. Regardless, the purpose of think. Let me try putting off video and see if it's work. It's my voice clear now.
Just like someone said, it's breaking.
Well, but regardless, yeah, you can proceed.
Yeah, you can proceed because you don't have much time, sir. Too bad. I think there is network problem. So,
So please, let me hear
Okay,
it.
yeah, it's better.
Honorable, it's better. You just go ahead and because of time factor. So,
Oh, okay. Sorry again, sincere apologies. I did check out this network before, but once again, good evening, all of you distinguished guests here. The president and fellow executive of all the chapters that is involved in. Also, good evening to all the brilliant minds joining us this evening from abroad and in China here. We really appreciate you all coming. Just as our MC said, this is just an opening remark for us to know what we are doing here. Normally, when you find a season like this in China and mostly in our universities, you realize it's a crossroads season where people are graduating, people are moving on from one stage to the other. Those who continue academics continue. Those who are seeking greener pastures in other countries are seeking them. People who are moving into the working field too are also doing that. And I think in spite of that, most of the leaders see fit that most of our members will need some guidance to guide them in this particular season that we are in. That is the graduation season. So this 9th seminar is not a mere event, but I think I would say a gateway to knowledge that, or a platform where it's going to be informative, and also it's also going to give us a chance to unlock some doors when it comes to academics and some professional possibilities, both here and mainly, as our topic said, in Europe and beyond. So whether someone is seeking scholarship opportunities, ways and means to get their green card in Europe and other things, I believe this is the platform that we are trying to give with first-hand experience of people who have been in that position before. And also, I believe it's going to be informative for anyone who have joined here to say. So we've designed tonight's session in a way that is going to be interactive. We are here to share. We are here to have practical discussion on how we can go by some of these steps as we move on from one level of academic journey to the other. So without much ado, I believe our speaker has a lot of things to tell us, and I believe a lot of us ask questions. Please, just as I mentioned, this evening is going to be an interactive section. We are here to ask questions about opportunities abroad, especially we here. So let us be open. Let us get our questions ready, and let us have a good and interactive session this evening. Thank you all so much. And once again, I apologize for my network issues. And I hope that this day or this time or this event that has been organized will be not just as I said, not just an event, but an informative one that is going to build us here and beyond. Thank you so much. MC, please, over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Erica, for that brief information and then the remarks you've given. So don't worry about the network. You understand the situation. All right. So thank you. Thank you once again. I'm sure that by the time you close this session, you are going to learn a lot and we can decode deep into things that we've not even thought of when it comes to the scholarship application, especially on the side of Europe. So at this moment, I would like to introduce our speakers before they take over. So as I mentioned earlier, we have two sessions today. We have the scholarship tips discussion practical session where we are going to be asking questions and we are going to be discussing some of the things in navigating your way through the scholarship process. And also we have a guest that is also going to be sharing with us green card application, that is for those of us that just joined. So after the scholarship discussion, we are going to also be discussing about the green card application, even though we know currently there are issues here and there. But if you're having your papers and everything correct, you wouldn't have any problem when it comes to issues that is currently ongoing. So I would like to introduce our first speaker in the person of Mr. Freeman. So Mr. Freeman obtained his bachelor's degree in agribusiness, agriculture and resource options from the University for Development Studies in Ghana, graduating with first class honors and being recognized as the overall best student in 2018. He worked as a research assistant for 2 years at UDS in Ghana before winning the Erasmus Mundus full scholarship to study a master's in agriculture and food economics in Germany and Belgium in 2020. He graduated in 2022 and got a job as an assistant lecturer at Rhein-Waal University of Applied Sciences in Germany. He later joined ZAF in September 2023 as a PhD researcher in environmental and resource management. He's passionate about giving back and making an impact on others. As a YouTuber, he also tries to help others achieve what he did through scholarship, education, and opportunities around the world. So this is a brief information about our speaker, the first speaker. And our second speaker, Mr. Bright, last month he was with us, but I still have to introduce him. So Mr. Bright Alasan, Alasan is a PhD candidate in the Department of Material Science and Nuclear Engineering at the University of Florida, USA. He holds a master's degree in environmental engineering from Central South University, Changsha, China. His previous research focused extensively on wastewater treatment, resulting in numerous scholarly publications. Currently, his research centers on understanding radiation-induced damage in materials subjected to extreme environments, such as those found within nuclear reactors. He employs multi-skill simulation and modeling techniques, integrating atomistic and mesoscale approaches to elucidate the fundamental physical and theoretical mechanisms driving radiation-induced material damage. His work contributes critical insights necessary for the development of advanced materials in nuclear and aerospace applications and is currently funded by the U.S. Department of Energy. So this is a brief information about our guest tonight. They are going to be taking us through the whole process. And before I move on, I would like to also acknowledge the presence of some senior members in the house. So we have our brother Richmond, Mr. Richmond Anaman, who is also the former NUGS Changsha Chapter president. And we have our brother Honorable Felix Kofi, who is also former NUGS Changsha Chapter Secretary and currently the Provincial Coordinator. So I would like to acknowledge their presence, and I'll come back to the introduction because I've seen honorable members joining. I need to get all the names and I'll acknowledge you properly. So, ladies and gentlemen, this evening we are going to be looking at scholarship applications. And I would like to invite Mr. Freeman from Germany, who is going to walk us through the process of application in Europe. So, Mr. Freeman, if you are ready, I welcome you into the house. Your audience are ready for you, and you would want to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, clearly.
Good. Thank you very much for being here. Maybe this is a bit of an ask, but if you are someone who can show your face like me, I will not only want to see your names, but also to see your face. So I'll be very happy to see, at least to see my Ghanaian brothers and sisters' faces. It's been a long time. So thank you very much, Justice and the other executives for organizing this. Unfortunately, I couldn't join the last time because I was on a trip to the US, but I'm back to Germany, and I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that you contacted me for this program because it's something that I am doing and I want to spread the word. I don't like gatekeeping information, so I want to let others benefit from what I have had and the advantages I've had, knowing our background from Ghana and all that. So when I saw that you were organizing this program, I was so happy that I'll be joining, and I wanted to share very important information that would be very, very, very instrumental. On a side note, so my wife also attended her master's degree in China and then got a PhD to start in Germany here. So it's more like a journey that most of you, I hope, and I pray that you would also go through to come and join us in Europe to enjoy some of the beauties of Europe as well. So today, I am someone who doesn't like talking so much. So I have few slides that I want to show, with very important information. However, I want to take you through some practical sessions. So I don't want to talk plenty and then how do we do this? So I'll only tell you what it is. These are the important information that you need to know. And then I'll take you through a practical session. So some of you have double screens can follow as we go through, so that because I believe that when you do the practical sessions, they stick more, and then many of the questions that will come later will not be questions again because you've gone through the process. So I'd like to share my screen now so that we don't talk any further. Yeah, okay. This can be shared. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yeah, we can see.
My screen
Yes,
is
please.
clear. Good. Thank you very much. Yeah. So we are talking about academic opportunities in Europe. And as someone who lives in Germany, I'm going to use Germany as one of the as the main case study, and also because it is the richest country in Europe. So a lot of things are here, and I would like to share why. However, we don't speak English in Germany. We speak German, or otherwise known as Deutsch, which is different from what is spoken in Netherlands, which is Dutch. So there are two different things. That's the first information I want to give out. So there are a lot of opportunities. I'm sure some of you have heard what we call DAAD, D-A-A-D. It's a German abbreviation. I will not bother you with that. But it's DAAD. DAAD is an organization that is responsible for international programs, or program that has to do with exchange. So the second A in the DAA has to do with exchange. So they are one of the main organizations that are involved in organizing international programs and international exchange and all that. Very interestingly, just yesterday, DAAD have opened should I say, a regional office in Ghana, Accra, Ghana, because one of the main applicants to the DAAD scholarships every year is Ghana. So they decided to open a station in Ghana so that they can actually address most of the issues that come, and also, I mean, foster that bilateral relationship, which is a very, 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 very important step. So at least we say thank you to them. So this is something that just came up yesterday, and I wanted to mention that. Now, in Germany, the first thing is that PhDs, unless you are getting a scholarship, which is not the popular one, are not students or are not put on student visas. They are put on work visas. So in Germany, if you are coming to do a PhD, that you are considered as a researcher or an employee of the company. So you are not put on a student visa, you are put on what we call a work visa. And one of the advantages is that this, because of the work relationship, they pay your, as part of your salary, your pension is paid, your health insurance is paid, and all the social insurances are paid, just like a normal worker would receive. So this is one of the advantages. I'll go through them. So let's start with this. So Germany and the EU. So I'll use Germany more in my presentation because I live in Germany, but most of the things apply to the other EU countries, which are over 26. So some of them, I'll mention other countries that also have those things in common. So it's a top destination for education. It has some of the best universities in the world. And one thing about Germany is that they like practical things. So most of their universities are involved in practical work. So if you want like labs for doing practical things, Germany is one of the places you are going to get them. So they like practical work. Their degrees are very of much quality, very high quality. They believe in standard. They don't compromise on anything, and that therefore most of their, if you get most of their degrees, you are able to apply to US and other places as well. They also have a very good job market, especially in IT, engineering, and those sciences and all that. They have very good job market for that because they believe in very practical work. And they also have very good international policies. So recently we just had an election and we got a new government, and even those people are putting in very good measures for international students as well. And I'll mention some of them. So what are the opportunities for international students? The best news is that in Germany, there is no tuition fee. So, sorry. In Germany, there's no tuition fee to the universities or in the university. So if you are someone, I don't know if there are people who will be, Justice, are there people who want to do masters in Germany? Just to ask.
Yes. Others
Okay,
will want
good.
to do.
So I'll mix them. So both bachelor's, master's, and PhD, no matter the university you are doing, so far as the university is a public university, they don't charge tuition fee. And I must tell you, the public universities are much better, in my opinion, to the private universities. So you would want to always stick to the public universities. The public universities, they receive a lot of funding from the government, and there's a lot of research going on in all that. And like I said, there is no tuition fee even to international students. So if you're an international student, you don't pay tuition fee. The only thing we pay in Germany is what we call semester fee. And that one, for example, you pay around 400 euros per semester. And every semester is 6 months. So you pay that only twice a year. And that semester fee is like the SRC fee. And majority of that semester fee is for your transportation. And I'll explain that a bit further. Most courses are now in English language, masters and PhD, and I'll show you an evidence to that. Even though Germany, the first language is not English language, but in order to attract a lot of international students, they've introduced a lot of English language programs. in almost every domain. So you find English programs in almost every university, both bachelor's, masters, and PhD. The multitude of universities, they have over 1,000 and something universities. And so they have what we call the universities and what we call the University of Applied Sciences. So in Ghana, we would have had like what we call polytechnic and then a university. In Germany, both of them are universities. However, what they call the university, which is Universität, is mainly the written part. So those in the academic writing thesis and blah blah blah, the theoretical part. Then what we call the Hochschule, which is the University of Applied Sciences, are those involved in the practical things, those building the machines, the tractors, all the things. So that is, but they are both universities. They have strong programs in engineering, sciences, IT, businesses, humanities, and all that. And their certificates, like I said, are recognized everywhere in the world. There are a lot of advantage for students, like student discounts. Almost everywhere you go, you'll get a student discount. There's low transportation fee. So just like in China, where you have a lot of trains and maybe trams and buses and all that, in Germany is one of the well-connected country in terms of public transport. And we have the underground, we have and all this is under the public transport. And for students, you get a lot of discounts in tickets. Just about 2 years ago, I should say, they introduced a general ticket for everyone in the country. So with only 58 euros, you get to use all the public transport in the country everywhere you go for 1 month. So every month you pay just 50 euros. Yeah. And that's a big advantage, big relief for some of us. The good thing about studying in Germany is that you are part of the EU, which is over 26 countries. Now, if you are studying in Germany and you finish your study in Germany, you have the opportunity to explore job markets in all these 26 countries. So if you study in Germany, you can apply for a job in Spain. You can apply for a job in Luxembourg. You can apply for a job in France, Netherlands. And I know people like that. Some of my colleagues are working in other places, Finland, Norway. You decide to go to the Scandinavia, and you have the opportunity to work in all those places. Aside working during holidays, you can also go and visit all these countries. No visa, no border checks. You just pick your plane, you travel from one place to another, you are gone. So you go for holidays and all that. And that's one of the big advantages of living in the EU, except the UK. So UK is not in the EU, even though it's in Europe. So now let's talk about specifics for bachelor's and master's students who want to study in Germany or the EU. Many programs, like I said, are in English. There's no tuition fee. You have the ability to work while studying. So in Europe, in most countries, including Germany, you have the opportunity to work for 20 hours per week whilst you study. You can also do internships and other side works as well, and also amount for 20 hours per week. You are allowed to do that. You have, like I said, student discounts for accommodation and feeding. There's a lot of subsidy if you are a student for accommodation and feeding as well. Like I said, nationwide subsidy. So for Germany, we have the 58 euro ticket per month. In Austria, they have a ticket which is 365 euros per year. So more like €1 per day. And then in Luxembourg, which is one of the richest country per capita in terms of GDP per capita, Luxembourg, the transportation there is free. So if you live in Luxembourg, you take public transport for free. You don't pay anything. And one major thing you should consider when studying or looking for study abroad opportunities is the pathway for permanent residence citizenship. I know some of us want to go back to Ghana and change the world and all that, but it doesn't spoil anything if you have a citizenship from another country. And from last year, they introduced that you can have a dual citizenship in Germany. So if you study in Germany, there's a direct or one of the direct pathway to citizenship. Let's say you finish a master's. If you work for 2 years after that master's, you can get a permanent residence. If you work for 5 years, you get a citizenship. That's for both bachelor's and master's. Now, interestingly, because the PhD is not a a school, or it's not schooling, or it's not considered a student thing, rather a job. When you are done with your master's and then you get a PhD, the PhD also counts as a job. So let's say you do, you get a 4-year PhD contract. You finish your master's, like me, I finished my master's from the University of Bonn. I got a PhD contract, which is 4 years. After 2 years of just the PhD, if I have a good level of the language, like maybe some of you also study Chinese to a certain level, you are able to apply for a permanent residence. And that's one of the best things you can do. After you are done, maybe 5 years, you can also get a citizenship. If you want more information, we can talk about that later. Now, let's go to specifics for PhDs. Like I said, PhD is considered employment, and therefore they pay for your pay as part of your, you take your salary slip, you get your pension, your health insurance is paid for, and everything. Specifically, health insurance here, I pay around close to 300 euros every month. That is from my side, my employer also pays. And due to that, I don't pay anything else in the hospitals, which is a very good thing. Surgery, whatever, everything is covered. Like I said, there's no tuition fee as well for PhDs, so it's all covered. For PhDs, you get to travel, especially the internal symposiums or conferences, to all these European countries, and you don't have to apply for visa or do anything. You just pick your bag and you're gone. Most of the time, we don't even fly. You take a train and then you get to the other country. Like I also mentioned, there's contribution to permanent residence and citizenship. For example, if you studied in China and you come to Germany to start a PhD, if you do your PhD for 3 years and you have a good level of the language, like B1, then you can apply for a permanent residence. Now, what are the scholarships for masters and bachelors in Germany? So this is for masters. Like I said, the DAD scholarship. We have the DAD EPOS and the DAD Himmelsschmidt scholarship. The EPOS has both masters and PhD, but the Himmelsschmidt is mostly for masters. Like I said, I run a YouTube. If you want to see the details, I'll show you the YouTube page from here, and you can get all the videos on how to do the application with documents and everything. All the details are there. So we have that scholarship. Normally, they pay for everything. So even including your flights and everything is paid. So when they say it's a scholarship, it's a full scholarship. The Erasmus scholarship, which I was a beneficiary of, this Erasmus scholarship is a scholarship offered all over Europe. So it's an exchange scholarship. So you study 1 semester here, move to another university, study 1 semester there, or you study 1 year here, move to another country, study another year. At the end, you get a multiple degree. So for me, I studied my first year in Germany and my second year in Belgium, in a Belgian university, and then I got both certificates. So in that case, I can apply for a job in Belgium with my Belgian certificate, and then a job in my German certificate. And it's one of the advantages of the Erasmus. You get to also meet students all over the world, and you enjoy yourself there. You get to travel as well. The CARD scholarship is by the Catholic Church here. This is a bit dicey, but we can talk about that if you really want to know about it. There are also university-based supports. Mostly German universities don't grant direct scholarships. So everything is done through the DAAD. So the German universities straight out do not really offer scholarships. Maybe some of the universities in China do. If you also want to self-fund yourself, because there's no tuition and everything, you do the application, you get admission. However, you have to have about 12,000 euros in your account, which is what we call the blocked account. So you put this money in a particular account, and that money is mainly for your visa. When you get a visa and you come to the country, they will divide this money into 12 and be giving you that amount every month for you to survive in the country, because they don't want you to come and be dependent on the system or of a sort. If you also know someone in Germany, let's say you have a relative, an uncle, like our Ghanaian uncle system, who is living in Germany, is working, is receiving good salary, he can give you what we call the obligation letter. And then that letter will show that he will sponsor you when you come to the country. And that letter, you can use that to apply for your visa. So that is, if you need more information, we can talk about that later. Now, student visa and work rights. So student visas are usually mostly for bachelors and masters, but when you're applying for a work visa, you are coming for a PhD, you get a work visa. This is just an anecdote. So when my wife was moving from China to Germany, she didn't know she had to apply for a work visa. So she first applied for a student visa, and that was then changed. The communication was made that no, in Germany you don't need. So this is a very good information that you know if you're applying for PhD in Germany, except it's a scholarship, which is sometimes not really common. Student visa allows you some part-time work, and I said, yeah, so many details. But one thing I'll also encourage is that when you come to the country, try and learn the language. It's not bad to learn another language. It opens doors for you. If you are able to learn up to B1, and if you do an intensive course in 9 months, you can get B1. If you do semi-intensive in 18 months, you can get a B1, and that is very good. So the language is also very good because you can use it for part-time jobs and also to get very good jobs when you are done with your studies. There are also opportunities for internships and attachments. Yes, work opportunities for students in cafeterias, tutoring, retailing, and so many other things. One thing I also want to mention is that, okay, I think that we're done. Now, postgraduates or post-graduation opportunities. What opportunities lie to you if you are done with your bachelor's or master's? Then I'll come to PhD. For bachelor's and master's, there are a lot of opportunities in the country. There are a lot of companies coming up. They need more people. They are always saying the problem is that Germany has, I think Germany is one of the top countries with very, very old people, like Italy. So they have so many old people. So now we are experiencing the problem of more people going to pension, and then we don't have so many people to work and pay for the pension. So now they are trying to create more opportunities for international students, international people to come in and work in the country so that at least we can pay for the pension. And then when we also go for pension, our children will pay for us. So that is an opportunity. So jobs are there. Of course, they can be competitive because a lot of people are applying, but rest assured especially if you know the language, you'll get a very good job. So jobs in engineering, healthcare, especially healthcare, they are looking for people in nursing and care work. So all the time. And because of that, they've actually even enacted a policy where you can switch. So if you started studying maybe chemistry and you realize that the chemistry is not going well, you want to go and start studying nursing, you can just stop the chemistry and go and start studying nursing to be a nurse. So first you couldn't do that, but now because of the problems that are coming up, they also have new policies up for international students. So if you are done with your master's or bachelor's, some countries like that, they will tell you to go back to your country. But in Germany, you have the opportunity to stay in the country for 18 months, 1 year, 6 months. And in that case, they give you what we call a job seeker visa. And that visa allows you to apply for jobs everywhere. And then when you get a job, then they convert that card or permit into a work permit for you. That's it. One very important thing is, I think I mentioned it briefly, you also have access to the job markets in other EU countries. So my roommate or close friend, Nigerian, I was doing my master's with him. He had banking background from Nigeria, from Access Bank in Nigeria. He came for the agriculture economics program, and then when he finished, he decided to go back to banking. And now he's working in one of the big banks in Luxembourg, which is not in Germany. So that's an opportunity. He was able to, even though living in Germany, you can apply for the job there because it's part of the EU. I know another lady who is also working in the Netherlands right now after studying in Germany. There are other people who have moved to Spain. Others have moved to other countries. It's your prerogative. You have the opportunity to do that so far as you qualify. So yeah, I think I've mentioned all this. For PhD, I mean, it's research. So let's say you finish your PhD, what do you want to do? You can go into industry. If you want to stay in academics, you can work as an assistant lecturer. However, the problem in Germany is that it's very difficult to be a professor in a university if you are not indigent. So because the requirements are very difficult. So most people go to the US after that. Some to move to industry, some stay in postdoc. There are others who get jobs in research institutions, and so they are just like a researcher there with their PhD. So there are options for you as well. So yeah, so as I mentioned, this is generally the talking I want to do. Now I want us to go into action. So I show you what you can actually get when you go online, how to actually do the searching and everything. So first we'll start with the masters and bachelors people, where to find the programs, which universities to look out for, how to find the programs and everything. I don't know if there's any question from what I just presented before we go there. If there's something like that, maybe I can attend to it. Maybe somebody wants to ask something before he or she forgets. And if there's something like that, if not, maybe we can go. Okay, we can continue. So firstly, let's start with the masters. So like I said, DAAD is the Deutsche Akademische Austauschdienst, is the main umbrella like organization that has to do with international programs. So if you want to just get to know where the programs are, you just open it. I hope you can see my tab. And then
Yeah.
you just type that. Then if you go to that, you go to, so it's DAAD here. You can change the language. So DE is German and then English is here. You come down, so there are scholarships for going abroad, but you come to international programs. You go to international programs. So these are currently how many? There are 2,421 international programs offered in Germany. Now, how do you get the courses? You can just run through, like currently they say there are 190 cities you can study in. There are 235 participating institutions and 68 subjects, and you can read all these details for yourself. However, if you want to find a program, so you come down here, this is bachelor's. So currently bachelor degrees are this number, masters are this number, PhD are this number, and all that. So that is it. If you want to also do language courses, short courses, preparatory courses, they are up to you. So we can start maybe from bachelor's. So we click bachelor's. Now, importantly, let's go to the language. So you see that English language alone is 243. It's even much more than German language. So German is only 14, and then English is 243. You can see that there are more courses there. So we only select for English. Now, if you want to filter for the fields, it's up to you. So for agriculture and why we have this art, engineering, you see, I told you they are very big on engineering. So I think some of us growing up, we had what we call the German machine. So it's they are big on engineering, Volkswagen, Porsche, and then all those cars are from here, Audi and all that. So engineering is a big thing here. They have law, economics, and social sciences as well, languages, mathematics, medicine, and all that. So let's just keep this one open, and then we keep the subject or the search open. We click on search. So we see, so they tell you the bachelor program there and the university as well. So bachelor's degree in African verbal, blah, blah, blah. This is agribusiness. This is in the universities I taught before being a PhD. So in my program, they say the subject is under this. They start in winter, which is usually in September, October. And then we usually starts in September. And you see that there's what? Tuition fee per semester. There's none. And then there's language is English language. Duration is 7 semesters because it's bachelor's. So you do 6 and 1 semester. And one good thing in Germany is that most of the bachelor's program, you must do an internship, most of them. So that's 7th semester. You have to do some of the universities already have companies that they work with. So they'll send the students to those companies to go and do a 6 months internship there. And one beautiful thing about that one is most of the students, after they finish their thesis, they are employed by those companies to come and work for them. Because I mean it's only natural. You study, you work with them for 6 months, you understood the company, they trained you and everything. So they want you to come and work. And that's just a job opportunity for some people. So assuming I want to study this particular program, I just need to click on it, and then all the details that are there is here. The course detail, the costs. So here, so interestingly, their semester fee is only 295 euros per semester. So for them, you only pay this amount per semester. And this covers nominal and administrative fees and a public transport ticket. So you as a student, instead of paying the 58 euros that we, the employees, are paying every month, they just lump everything into one semester and subsidize it for you. So you get that public transport, and you can travel to any part of the country with the train, bus, and everything. But however, they are very particular with the cost of living. That's why when you are funding yourself, you need a blocked account. So they estimate that you need around 870 euros per month to live in the country. And this is for your accommodation, your feeding, and other entertainment and other things. So you can read more about this. So they say funding opportunities within the universities. So this one is yes. It means that there are some funding opportunities, and you can ask the international office in the country, in the universities. They will share those things and how to apply and all that. If you qualify, and you can apply. So this is the requirements. You can read through here what you can apply with. If you are coming to do English, of course, you have to have very good English language. Unless maybe you did your high school in English, then sometimes they can waive it for you. The application deadline is usually 15th July. So you can apply until 15th July. Now, application must be submitted online through Uni Assist. Now, Uni Assist, I don't know if some of you know, but it's another portal or a system that has been created by all German universities. So if you want to apply for a German universities, instead of going for bachelors and masters, I must specify, instead of going to the individual universities and applying for them individually, you go to that Uni Assist. You upload all your documents in that particular Uni Assist, something like the Common App in the US. You upload all your documents there, you pay some fees, and then you choose the universities you apply. The same documents will be spread to those universities per the course you choose and all that. And it's very easy to do. So you go to Uni Access, you find the program, you find the university, and then you do the application. Whatever you want, you can still email them using their email, and then you can also go to the university website and read more. So this is very easy to find. The same thing for masters. I would not like to bore you a lot. If you want to also study for a master's, you just filter it for a master's. For PhD, I'll come later. So for master's, see that the English language, there are even more English language, and there are even more programs as well. So engineering is 400 and something and all that. So that is how you can find the programs and how you can do the application for master's. Now, let's move to the next part, which is the PhD. And I assume most of you are doing masters and you want to explore the PhD opportunities in Germany. In Germany, because the PhD positions are like in Europe as well. I think it's a Europe thing because it happens in Netherlands, other parts, and I'll show examples. Because they are considered jobs, you are supposed to publish the position on your website. So almost all the websites have a vacancy part. So you go to the university, you go to their website, and you go to where they call vacancies or jobs. Then they will publish all PhD openings and everything. Now, their PhDs are in such a way that the university or the research institution, I'm in a research institution, the university or the department will write their proposal, apply for funding, get the funding, and then when they get the funding and finish, they will now ask for people to apply and come and do what they have written about. So it's not that you have to come and develop your own proposal and now apply for funding and blah, blah, blah. Most of the time, there are exceptions, of course. Sometimes you can do that. But most of the time, the universities or the institutions, the departments, the groups, the consortium, whatever, will write their own proposal, apply for funding. Most of the funding comes from government, EU government, private organizations, rich people as well. They'll write their proposals, and every year they are called for proposals and all that in various fields. So they'll write a proposal, get the funding, and now design a job posting for people to apply in. And then when you apply in the job posting, I'll show you an example. They'll tell you how much you'll be paid. They'll tell you where you are studying, what you are studying in, what the position is about, how long it is, and everything. So you already know the full details before applying, so that when you come, you just kickstart. The good thing that I like about studying in Europe is that if you already have a master's, or I should mention that in Germany, it is not possible to do a PhD directly from bachelor's. So you have to have a master's degree most of the time. You have to have a master's degree. Then during the master's, you do a lot of courses and blah, blah, blah. So after that, when you are doing a PhD, they don't expect you to come and do any classroom work. There are compulsory courses by the universities or the institutions that you do alongside. However, from day one, you already start your project. So if you are doing wastewater treatment, you are already introduced to the lab, what you are supposed to do when you are going for data sampling and everything. Everything is done from day one. So you don't have to now take some courses for first year and then later you now start your project and all that. No, it's done from day one. So let's go and see how we can find the PhDs in Germany. I'll also show other places so that it will be open to the other European countries. So for Germany, like I said, the DAAD is the umbrella place. This is the link. You can also search for it. Just go to DAAD. They have a place for PhD. Now, so PhD in Germany, they call it PhD Germany. Now, almost all universities, or should I say almost all universities and institutions are mandated. I'm sure some of you have heard of the Max Planck Institute. It's one of the biggest consortiums in Germany, and they have various institutions. So that one is not a university, it's an institution. And you can also go and do your PhD in that institution. So for example, you have a position, you are mandated of a sort to put it on this website. So if you come here, you see that currently there's University of, you can change the language here if it is not in English. There's University of Leipzig. And there's a PhD position in advanced thermofluidic manipulation of single molecules and nanoplastics or particles. Now you see that they give you, there is type of promotion is full PhD. Working language, here they say is German and English. Maybe there's going to be some sampling which will be done in German. Required degree, you need a master's. Application deadline is 15/5. And the beginning is as soon as possible. Location is Leipzig. And it's at the Peter Dobby Institute for Physics of artificial materials, blah, blah, blah. You can look at this later. So if you are interested in something like this, you just need to click on it. Then it gives you the full details, everything you need. There's financing, yes. The working language is German and English. You need area of study, you need experimental physics and other physics. Start date, they want you to start July 1st or earlier if possible. So they are doing it in collaboration with Princeton University and the University of Illinois in Chicago. And these are the things you do. The research focus is cutting edge research and blah, 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 blah. You can read all this. What you will do, they'll tell you what you are supposed to do as a PhD. They'll tell you design and conduct all these things. So since it's a collaboration, you might have to travel as well. So you have to like traveling. What qualification? This is the qualification you need. The strong background in this is needed, and excellent English communication skills. Now, they mentioned that English and German is needed. However, because the program is in collaboration with universities in the US, if you have English alone, you might be considered, because they give that opportunity for people when they come to Germany to also learn the language. So as you are doing your PhD, you can be learning the language. So even in your motivational speak, you can say one of the reasons why you are coming in is the opportunity for cultural exchange, and also the opportunity to learn the German language and the German culture. So in that case, you are considered even if you don't speak German language, which is a very good thing. Some of the institutions and universities, I should say almost all of them, they offer free language courses to people who are studying there. So you may not have to even pay for the language program. So they tell you what they offer. So the state-of-the-art laboratory facilities at the university, comprehensive training, blah, 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 blah. You can read all this. Now, they tell you what is the application process. Please submit the following documents and information to this. So this one, they've given you an email, and this is where you have to send your documents. So you have to have a cover letter, 1 page. And please, when they say 1 page, it must be 1 page. Germany are very particular with instructions. Sometimes you have a very good application, but if you don't follow the instructions, they will not even review it. So cover letter, you need this. Then you have to state your specific interests, your relevant skills, and your career goals. You need your CV, and include your publication and conferences, if you have so. You need academic transcripts, bachelor's and master's. You have to include them. You need names and contact information of referees. Now, if your bachelor's or master's was obtained outside Germany, after you are picked for the job, they would require you to translate them or convert them to the German system. And that one, it will be done later. So you don't need to worry about it now. First, get the job, and then that will be sorted out. So this is how you do. So you have to put the cover letter, the CV, all this in maybe one. Some of them will specify that you need to put it in one PDF and email it to this email address by May 15th. And then they will check through. So this is how, if you want to read more about the position, you click here. So if we click here, now this is the PDF of the position. Everything is spelled out there, and that is it. You can also find this position if you go to the University of Leipzig. You go to the University of Leipzig's website and then go to vacancy. Maybe we can Universität Leipzig. Then it takes you there. Yeah, Leipzig is a very top German speaking place. So most of their things are in German. Now they have an English. So we've toggled it. This is how it is. When you come down, you see something here called what? Job opportunities. If you click on job opportunities, then it takes you to the place. So these are the positions. So if the institution where you want to work, which category, so it's scientific and science supporting staff. Yeah. So this is it. And then you start search. It will filter to the Faculty of Life Sciences has 10 positions for doctoral researchers. There's postdoc and doctor this thing. So if we open here, here currently they are looking for 10 people to come and do PhD in this particular, and this is the offer, the duties, and all that. You can read about this later, but this is an opportunity. So this is how to also find it from the university. Yeah. So this is it. That website is also practical, so you can read through. Yeah, very, very important places where you can do your PhD. They have different domains. You can also filter it in the subject area. So they have in economics, engineering, humanities, language, all this. You can filter it to your domain and then you look for it. So one thing that I would like to mention is that when you find a position that you are interested in and you get a link here and you open the maybe let me go back to the one that we used for clarity. If you open the position and then you go to the link here, which is a PDF, you go down here, what they offer. So they tell you all that they offer here. They don't mention the salary and everything. So it's difficult to know the salary information. However, you can go through, give me a few minutes. Let me look for one that has a salary something for a particular explanation. Yeah. Good. So for this particular position, you can read all this. However, when you come down, they mention here we offer PhD remuneration will be in line with the current German collective pay agreement. If you see this alone, it's a good sign that it is an employment contract. If it is a scholarship, they'll mention it. But if you see that it is under the German collective pay agreement, just this statement alone means that you are going to get a job instead of a scholarship. And there are levels. You don't need to worry yourself under this, but most of the time they will tell you around 4,500 euros in your first year and this in your second. So this is what you'll be receiving per month. However, this is gross. So if your net is around this, then if your gross is around this, then your net should be around 2,400, 2,500. Because Germany, the taxes are a bit high. However, you get all the benefits of the tax because you don't pay anything else. So the other parts is for your tax and your health insurance and everything. So this is how much they are going to pay you as a PhD per month when you work in that place. So this is something very good to note. So when you see the German collective pay agreement or anything called collective pay agreement, then, and mind you, these salaries, they are adjusted every 2 to 3 years. So, and every year your level increases. So every first year you have level 1, level 2, you go up and then you get more money and all that. So that is how this works. And thank you for listening to this part. It's very important to me. Now, I don't know if there are questions. Justice, maybe you can moderate if there are questions in the yeah. So yeah, I will find a way of sharing the slides in a way that all of you can have it. So I'll give it out yeah, later, maybe through Justice or so. Yeah, so you can moderate maybe in the chat if there are questions that I really need to touch before I continue. Now, there's also this, since we are all scientists, we know Nature publications. They've also launched a website where you can find jobs. So if you click on this link, they have find a job and you can go down and then either choose which domain, which job type, discipline, employment, and you look at all this. So they have assistant professor, full professorship, they have research scientists. This one is international, so you find US and other countries. So yeah, they also offer the opportunity to upload your CV, and then it can tailor certain applications for you. Yeah, you can read more about this. Then if you want to also look at, like I mentioned, the university specific. So apart from the DAAD, you can go to the university and find positions there because they are jobs, they post them there. Now, apart from Germany, let's go to other countries. So Luxembourg is one of the best countries to be in, even though it's a bit expensive, but yeah. So you go to their website, just type University of Luxembourg. This is their website. Luxembourg, one of their main languages is French. So they speak 3 languages, German, French, and English. So, but the PhDs, I guess most of them will be in English. So let's go and look at it. So when you scroll down, you see here as well, open positions. If you go to open positions, then it goes down here. You see here, you can filter to PhD candidates or all, and then the organization function and blah, blah. So if you want PhD, you search. So look at all the PhD opportunities. We can read some of them. So there's smart energy, there is engineering sciences, AI and cognitive sciences, finance, cybersecurity, economic geography, economics and social science, psychology, AI and aging, sustainable spaces, quantum optimization, European law, computational mechanics, quantum software engineering, blah, blah, blah. So let's say we want to do the cybersecurity. So they write here is a fixed term contract, which also means that it's a job. So click here, they tell you the same thing, just like the other one. They tell you all the information because they've already secured everything. What you are going to do, so listen to this. Due to the nature of the project, we are allowed to accept only candidates from NATO member countries or NATO partners. So one thing about EU, you know this, of course, you're in China. Issues like that. Some people are offering funding, but they put condition to the funding that they want only Africans, they want only Europeans, yeah, some of them are like that, and we have to just accept it. So this particular one is NATO members. So if you are not a member of NATO, don't even bother applying. Or if you are not applying from a member NATO country, don't bother applying, please. Don't even look at it. Sometimes even the country that you are from that is not part of NATO is not even the list of choice. So you not even see the country you're applying from that is not part of the NATO. Sorry, but I just have to laugh a bit. Now, how do you apply? They said application should be written in English and submitted online. Application by email will not be considered. So you see, the other one was by email, but this one they say online. What do you need? CV, blah, 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 and all that. And then this is the online portal. So apply for this, you click, you upload your documents and all that. Now here they put it there, your yearly gross salary, because in Germany, in Europe, some people calculate in years. So this is 40,000. It means that you get around 4,000 euros or 3,800 per gross per month, and that should amount to around 2,600 euros net. That is what is coming into your account, and out of that net is only for your accommodation and your own spending, but the your health insurance and blah 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 and all those pension and everything will be deducted before that 2,000 something comes to your account, so you don't have to pay extra for that. So this is Luxembourg, and I showed you how to find the positions in the on the university website. If you want to also do masters, I have a video about it on my YouTube channel, and I'll show you so that I don't have to bore you here. Now let's go to KU Leuven. KU Leuven is one of the best universities in Belgium. So if you want to go to Belgium, you go to their website as well. Just go to their website. Also go down. They have vacancies and all that. You can, yeah. If you go to home, you see they have it here, vacancies. And you can also look at how so PhD research, Department of Movement Sciences, blah, blah, blah. You can go through modeling flexible. They also mention everything here. They tell you what you're going to do. This project focuses on this. You need this. The offer package is mentioned here. Here they say it's a 4-year contract. Yeah. So they tell you everything here. Salary. Did they mention salary? Yeah. I think here they did mention the salary. And here they say you can apply for this job no later than this they also have an online portal. You have to include this. One thing about Europe is that they are very transparent about these things. So if you don't see salary structure or salary information, you can email the contact person. They always put in their advertisement that how much will it be. They will answer you and tell you gross, net, and everything, how much you're going to expect. So you can write to them and you are allowed to do so. It's actually a law to disclose the salary that the person is coming to work for. That is KU Leuven, that is in Belgium. Now, if you want to go to Technical University of Munich, one of the best universities in Germany, you can also go to their website. So, sorry. So if you go to TUM PhD positions, just, yeah. Yeah, so let's see, yeah. It goes, okay, TUM PhD positions. Yeah, so it gives you career and job vacancies. You go straight there. Then you go to open positions. Where do you want? Doctorate, vacancies noted for academic staff. Then it tells you what they have. If it is in German, you just change the language to English. If you see an advertisement purely in German, it means that they need someone like this one. See that it's purely in German. It means they need someone who can speak German very well. So there are PhD and postdocs here. You can read through. You can also filter to which department you want, and then you find them. Okay, so now that is also yeah. Before I go, there's there's also what we call the Leibniz Consortium. That is where I work. It's one of the associations of scientific institutions. So it's an association where they have put together all the scientific institutions and Leibniz Gemeinschaft. So it's an association where all the Leibniz certain scientific institutions are part of. So that place too, they put there, they also post job vacancies for all the Leibniz associates. I mean the agriculture and landscape one. There are others as well. So if you click on that, then you click it to change it to English. You see jobs. Click on jobs. Then you go down to discipline. You can change which discipline. Look at the number of institutions part of the Leibniz Association. All these institutions are part of the Leibniz Association. And they are all institutions that are offering PhD positions and blah, 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 all these postdocs and all that. Now you can see that these are the current positions open, several of them in various domains, Some are postdocs, some are PhDs. You can decide which one you want to, scientific posts, and then you can toggle it into PhDs and all that. That's one thing about this libraries that I like. Then you can also finally find some of them on LinkedIn. Some people post their job position on LinkedIn. So what I entreat you to do is that if you are in material science in China or Shenzhen University, and then you want to look for a position in PhD, you just need to go to online and look for universities that offer those programs, or universities that have positions or departments in that domain, and then look for their job postings. That's all you need to do. Just need to go and look for the universities or the institutions, and then with ChatGPT and all that, you can easily find them. So that, and also you can use the DAAD, which is also a very instrumental one as well. So yeah, I think I've done everything here. Finally, for the master's people, if you want more information, that one I can talk to you later. Also on my YouTube, I've done a lot of videos on the master's and bachelor's part. So maybe I don't need to bore you with that. And finally, someone asked, I think I saw this about IELTS. Usually they will mention it in the position. If they want you, if you need IELTS, fine. But with some of us here, I think most of us did our bachelor's in Ghana. So if you had your bachelor's in Ghana, then that one is already a plus. You don't need to do IELTS. Of course, you can speak. Your papers you are writing are in English language, and all that is a plus. Most of them, especially PhD, IELTS is not really a thing you need to add, because they care about your publications, your academic activity, and your certificates, and which university you went and all that. So that is to answer the IELTS. But if you are doing a master's, some of them require that you put IELTS. But now, because Ghana is now well recognized, most of the places, they exempt Ghanaians from sending any language programs as well. So this is an advantage for us. Now, before I show you my PhD, I saw this website which I advertised, which is in US. I know Bright will talk about US, but this is for those who are in rangeland, wildlife, fisheries management, and aquaculture. There is this job board in the US that posts positions all around the US, and you can search for the jobs here, and you can put job type. So maybe graduates, and then you search. They have graduate opportunities. They have so many others, and they always everything is also clearly written here. They tell you, so like this one, PhD in human dimensions, and they also mention everything here. This is for US, so those who are also interested in the US, you require masters. They tell you the salary, where it is, Nebraska, Lincoln, the qualification and everything, and then they tell you how to apply. So you submit a single PDF to this with all this, and that is it. So I'll find a way of sharing with you the slides, and then and then we can now finally, before we take questions, so before I end, as a way of supporting others, this is my page. This is my page on YouTube. if you are currently on your phone or your laptop, I'll beg you to go on my YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it to your friends and family back home so that they will also get the information that I give out. At least that's a way of increasing my reach so that I can also be able to penetrate the market and then give back to society as I got. So that is the end of my presentation. I've been talking for a long time, but I hope there was substance in what I did. I hope that someone picked something. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'm open to answer them.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Freeman. I think it's very, very powerful. Verily. Um, I'm really, really inspired about the information that you've communicated to us. So I think some of the members are asking about the PPT and maybe the recording of this session. So what we can do is that after the end of the program, they can reach out to me. Maybe we
Yeah.
can you can make
I'll
everything.
send it. Yeah, I'll send
Sure.
the PPT to you so you can share it to
Yeah,
everyone.
and some of the links that you just, the practical session, people would want to
Everything
know
is
the
in
links
the
and other things. So
all the
those,
links are in the PDF, so the PPT. So you just need to have the PPT and you
okay.
have everything. Yeah.
All right. So at this moment, Mr. Bright has also joined us. So let's welcome him, our second speaker. He was with us last week. Last month. He facilitated the USA and Canada application process, and it was very insightful and very informative. So he has also joined us. Thank you, Mr. Alasan, for joining us at this moment. So we are going to take questions from the audience, and I think some of them have already posted some under the comment section, so we can take those ones first. Then after that, we can take those who would like to talk or something. So I've seen someone asking about. So someone says, what are some of the job sites for industry works for graduating PhD students in China? So what I want to decode is that the person is asking if someone is graduating from China with a PhD and would like to get a job offer in Europe or maybe in Germany or something. Is there any website the person can use to apply for jobs? That's what the person is asking.
Well, there's no particular website. You have to go online and then find the industry you want to work in, and then you find the jobs. However, one thing about working in the industry in Germany is that most of the time you require the language. You're required to be able to speak German because you are going to interact with German machines. You are going to interact with German people. You are going to interact with all the written and everything is going to be in German. So that is one thing that is a bit limiting. But there are also international organizations that you can apply for, like the UN, UNCC, FCC, and almost all the international organizations that are in Germany. You can work for them. You can also target the other countries that require only English. That is fine. Research institutions that are looking for assistant professors or researchers, like just like we did for the PhD. If you go to those same websites, the universities, sometimes they are looking for assistant professor. They are looking for just a researcher or somebody, and then you'll be able to apply for that. But in terms of industrial, let's say you want to work for Tesla. Tesla has a very big factory in Berlin. If you want to work for Tesla, you have to go to Tesla's website and then find the jobs there. If you want to work for Audi, then you go to Audi and then find the jobs there. So there's specifically there may be links which I'm not privy to, but I'm sure that if you go to the company's websites, you'll find the jobs there. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I think I would like to take another side from Mr. Lassan. Just like we have a platform where most of the universities are being placed and people can just go to that platform and look for opportunities. I would like to ask Mr. Lassan if in the USA too, there is also a platform for job posting or something like that, because I'm sure some people are also interested in jobs aside education. So apart from going to the company's website, is there any, do you have any maybe clue about some of these portals that people can access information on job posting?
Okay. So good morning from here, Mr. Justice, and good morning to your listeners. Also, good morning to Freeman. That was very insightful. Thank you for that service to our people, our brothers and sisters in China. Yeah, there are a few websites and also apps that you can use to look for jobs. For example, we have Indeed. I don't know if any of you know Indeed. There's a website called Indeed. Yeah. So you can go to Indeed, create your profile, upload your CV, and you will have some of these companies reach out to you. You can also go to Glassdoor. There's a website called Glassdoor. Create your profile and put your information there. And and this is not, sometimes you tell people these things and people think, oh, is this true? No, it's true. People have gotten jobs from, from this. In the US, it's pretty much common. When you are graduating, you go to all those websites, create your profile, upload your up-to-date CV, your contact, and all of those things. And you have thousands and thousands of interviews. They will call you for interview because most of the recruiters, that's where they go. So when you go there are so many filters that you can do. I didn't know this will come up. Like I would have prepared maybe some short slides, but I actually came just to talk to you about something that is very dear to me. But this is just by the way. So you can go to, there are websites, sure, but the most certain way is like what Freeman said. Go to the company's website. One thing that I will encourage you guys is that don't be lazy. And excuse me for my language. If I say lazy, I'm not, using some mean words. No. But, looking for a job, especially in abroad here, especially in US here, or looking for PhD scholarship or master scholarship, is a job on its own. You have to be ready to put in the work. Sometimes I see people reach out and they're like, oh, can you do this application for me? The truth is that I don't do applications for people. I don't have the time. Yeah. I'm always working 24/7. I have family, so it's a lot of work. But what I can do, and I have done in time past for a lot of people who have joined me here in the US, is that I help you, show you the way. I read your documents. For the first time, I pretty much sort of babysit you. I read I can even share most of them. I did share my my document with them, and I'll tell you, okay, write it, send it to me. I'll read it. I'll make sure that the document is okay. And trust me, when I read it and I say it's okay, it means it's okay because I've read thousands of this. And truly, when they use those documents and they reach out to prospective, recruiters, either for PhD or whatever, they get a positive response. So that is what I can do. So when you say job, I want to understand whether you know that postdoc is also a job, right? Do we agree?
Yeah,
postdoc is a job. It's not an education. No, it's a job. So some of the website that you can go to find scholarships and other stuffs, some of them also add postdocs. For example, the last time I spoke with you guys, I think I shared a website, the IESP website, the environmental engineering stuff. Yeah. So if you go to that website, the jobs section, you will find that they don't only post what they call it, scholarship for masters and PhD. They also post postdocs. Yeah, they also post postdocs. And there's a website. I think I'll look for it along the way. That is particularly focused on Europe. If you're looking for a job in Europe, most of the recruiters, that's where they post it. I used to have it. I think I'll look for it some along the line and I'll share it with you. I'm not sure if I shared the last time with you guys. Yeah, they post thousands and thousands of jobs on that website. Some of them are postdoc, research scientist positions, and other, positions. Yeah, so there are websites in the US, Glassdoor, Indeed. You can also leverage LinkedIn. which is a very powerful app that people have gotten jobs, a lot of jobs from. Make sure you have a very good profile on LinkedIn. Your profile should be up to date, indicate that you are open for job, and keep your eye on. A lot of people post, follow some of these companies or institutions that you are looking for job from them. For example, if you are looking for a job from Apple or from Google, if you're on LinkedIn, you have a good profile. Search for Apple and follow them, because chances are that most of the jobs that they post on their website or they upload on feeds like Indeed and Glassdoor, they also post it on what do you call it, on that website. So yeah, there are quite a few websites, and you can also Google them online, website to get jobs, in the US or in Europe. I think you have some of these pop up. Well, that's just by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Alasan, can I just
Yeah,
interject
come in.
before you
Sure.
continue? So yeah, I didn't know that was specifically what it was, but I would, like I said, I would prefer you go into the company's website
Right.
because yeah, you get clearer stuff there. But this Glassdoor, indeed, we also have Stepstone. We have so many other websites as well in Germany that you can also find jobs. So
Okay.
those ones, yeah, they are also available. I mean, those ones are third-party apps
Right.
that are exactly. So they are not exactly the companies, but I prefer to go to the company, and then if you need to contact them directly or something, then that's beautiful. So, and also about the babysitting. I mean, I know, I mean, Alasa, I might even be in a bigger trouble than you because I'm doing YouTube and everybody is seeing me all around the world. And people think that I'm actually sharing scholarships, you know? So, and people just call me, even parents will contact me and tell me that I want my daughter or son to study in Germany like you. And also get, some will say, even get award like you got an award. Can you help him? I'm like, yeah, you have to apply, but I cannot do everything for you. You know, I'm very busy and all that. So you have to put in your own effort, and like you see the way I showed the PhD positions, they looked so easy and they were there, but there's competition. As part of my job, I also review some applications in our group, and I can tell you, sometimes we get like 300 applications for just one position. So, yeah, it's competitive, but you can also compete, like I always say. So, please do put in your own effort, and then I'm sure you'll be able to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thank you very much. Is it someone asking any question? I heard the background.
Yeah, if there are any
Okay.
other questions, we can take it before we go to the next section
Uh,
on
hello.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, does the PhD require age limit?
Okay, most of them do not actually, but some of them, if they do, would specify it on the call, just like they specify the funding and everything. If they do, they'll say, just like they also specify the NATO thing. If it is specific to a certain age, they'll put it there. But PhDs, generally, I see people who are very old in our institutions and all that. So, yeah, it's mostly open. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me just add. So in the US here and US and Canada, to be specific, PhD does not require any age limits. I have people who are over 50 years here in my school doing PhD. So you should not, your age should not be a factor at all.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so Mr. Freeman, last month we discussed with Mr. Alasan with the information that you are supposed to put on your CV for scholarship applications. And we know in Europe, the Europass format is what it is normally used. So someone is asking that which CV format is required when you're applying for maybe jobs or scholarship in the US. Oh, sorry, in Europe instead of US, because for the US one, we already dealt with it and we know the format. But in Europe, we would want to know if you can use the same format or there's a special format that we can use.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a very good question. I should have touched on it actually. So in Europe, we have what we call the Euro Pass. I can share my screen if you allow me. Yeah. So we have what we call the Euro Pass, which is yeah. So this is the Euro Pass thing, which is open or run by the European Union, and you can use it to develop your. So they have tools, and you can use it to develop your CV and all that. Sorry, this is in German, but you can develop your CV here, and it has its own templates. It has its own. So yeah, so you create your CV. What you do is that there's even a video on how to do the CV and all that. You just need to be typing and filling all the informations that you need to put in, and then at the end it will generate the CV for you. So something like this. You see, this is a type of CV, and it shows all the sections that are needed in that. Most of the time, if the funding organization is EU, then it will be an advantage to use the Europass CV. However, it is not very strict. There are some times, even me, I didn't use Europass to apply for my PhD position. I used a website which is called Flow CV. Here, this is a very free website. You also just fill in all your information, and then you at the end get a CV. Something like this will not be bad. Yeah, there are a lot of templates. You can choose the one which is mainly academic. Just make sure that your information is reverse chronology. If you mention the most important stuff, that's it. But yeah, but if you use the Europass tool, it's fine. It's fine. They'll review it unless it is specified in the call that it must be in the Europass format. Then it's compulsory. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. So, Honorable Eli wants to ask a question. Please, Honorable, can you unmute yourself and speak? The question you want to ask a question. Honorable Eli. Okay, I think he's not okay. If he's not around, then we can take other questions before we move to the other session of the program. So please, if you have any other question, this is the only platform that we can ask questions relating to scholarships in Europe. And after the session, we can share the information that the website and all the links that our speakers and our guests are sharing with us. So that one is not a problem. Now, what we need to do is to ask questions pertaining to the scholarship and whatever that you'd want to ask. Then after that, if you don't have any question for now, we can move to the next session where we are going to be sharing information about green card application. Even if you are not in the US and you want to apply, you can do so. If you are not having any question for now, then we can move to the next session. Please, is anyone having any question before we move to the next stage?
Yeah, please, I wrote my question in the chat. So kindly.
Okay. Edu. Okay. Edu. Okay. So please, are there instructions offering funding for data collection?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello.
Justice, can you hear me now?
Okay, please hold on. Who is speaking? Please let me know who is speaking so that I can take the questions one after the other. Please, who?
Elisha.
Oh,
Elisha.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's take your question from Elisha, and after that we come to Mr. Adu. All right, Elisha, you can speak.
I'm also currently doing my PhD in biochemistry in Turkey, but then I joined earlier and during Freeman's earlier presentation, he made mention that if someone studies out of Germany and comes back to Germany for postgraduate, he or she would have to, change the degree to suit that of the German system. And I want to be sure if perhaps he was referring to anyone who studies out of Europe. That is, if your your institution didn't go by the European Credit Transfer and Accumulation System. Because I know of people who have studied here in Turkey, they did their master's here, some did their bachelor's degree, and they applied directly and they got admission, they left. And even some have left on exchange program under Erasmus Mundus. So I want to be sure if that was what he was referring to, or there's something else that he probably wanted to talk about. Thank you.
All right. Okay, thank you. Mr. Freeman.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning Elisha. I didn't know that was a Kambon. So specifically what I meant was that so the German system specifies that your degree must be recognized by the German Association of Education and all that. So in my case, when I was applying for Erasmus, I didn't have to get it recognized because it's going through the European Union or some sort. But if you're applying for a master's or a bachelor's directly in Germany, most of the time it is required that you translate it into the German system. Some of them are waived, and I know some people who got through without, and it's fine, there's no problem. Some countries too have certain treaties with Germany, and therefore their universities are recognized here, so their degrees as well. There's particularly a website called Anubin in Germany where you can go and check if your degree or your university is recognized in Germany. So for example, if I did agribusiness in UDS, I go to Anubin and I check agribusiness UDS. If it is recognized, then in that case, you may not have to do that recognition. And interestingly, that list is updated all the time. So yes, there are people who would apply from Turkey or other places who will not have to do their recognition, and it's completely fine. However, there are specifics, and I know for my wife because she studied in China and UDS, and she had to translate it into the German system, which was a requirement for her. So it depends on the scenario, and like every rule, there's always an exception.
Yeah. Like specifically what I meant was, if you say the German system, are you referring to the European Credit Transfer and Accumulation System, or perhaps they have a different system? Because what I know is most European institutions, universities within Europe, they have a particular system, that is the European Credit Transfer and Accumulation System. Is that what you are referring to as the German system, or is a different system you're talking about?
Yes, so the European one that you mentioned is completely right, where they use ECTS and all that. That is completely right. But in Germany, it is an unspoken rule, I should say, in a way that they want to really do things in their German way. So they have a little bit of an added recognition that they want to do. So yes, the European one, especially if you are even applying as an EU member, you might not even have to go through that. But if you are outside the EU, then they might want to add a bit of, some few things. And some of the things are that you might even pay a little fee and all that. So yes, it's a case-to-case basis. And yeah, the European one works, and it works, of course, for many people. But in some special cases, they want to really know some little details and all that, and they might have some extra. This country is a very stubborn country, so yeah.
All right. Okay, so I think I will take the next question from Mr. Adu. Then after that, we move to our next session of the program. So, Mr. Adu, if you are online, kindly unmute yourself and then ask your question again.
Yeah, please, can I be heard?
Yes, please.
Yeah, please, I'm asking about if there are institutions that offer funding for data collection, like being a PhD student here. Is there the possibility of having an institution that can maybe provide for funding for my data collection? Thank you.
To answer that question, none that I know of. Like I mentioned, usually here they already factor everything in, right? Their proposal and all that. So if there's data collection in your PhD in Germany here or in Europe, it will be included. However, if it is let's say you are in China, like in your case, you are in China, you are looking for money for data collection. I don't know of anything like that. So maybe US, I don't know, but China, no. Germany, no.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your question. So we can now take the second session from Mr. Alassan to walk us through the green card application process. And after that, we can also ask our questions. So Mr. Alassan, please, you can take over from here and we discuss about the green card application process. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you once again. And thank you, Mr. Freeman. Freeman was my mate in school, so and Elisha and Justice as well. So we know ourselves very well. Okay, so today I actually came just to talk to you about green card. And I know most of us are pretty much aware of what the green card is. However, a lot of people don't know that it is even possible to apply to become a permanent resident of the United States while outside the United States. But before I start with, I want to put a disclaimer across that I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an immigration attorney, and this is not a legal advice. If you need any legal advice concerning green card application, my advice is that you should look for an immigration attorney. I'm just sharing my personal experience. So consider whatever I say here as a personal experience, not as a legal advice, okay? Before somebody will go and sue me. So, all right. So that's just by the way. And like I said the other time, I'm very passionate about Ghanaian students who are in China because I was once like you. I did my master's in China before I came to the United States here. And so I'm very passionate about people who are in China. I know how situations are. And so I'm doing everything I can, to expose you to all the opportunities out there, whether in the USA, in the Canada here, or in any part of the world. And this is one of the things that I want to do. I realize that a lot of people don't know anything about the US green card system. And I've spoken with some of my very close friends, and they didn't know that it is possible to apply for a green card when even you are not in the United States here. You see? So there are tons of information out there that people are not privy to. And so I believe that exposing you to some of this information will help you prepare and get ready to launch yourself into some of these things. And if you have the green card or if you have permanent resident in the US here, I'm telling you the truth is it is the gold mine. It is everything that you need to succeed. Because once you have that, no restrictions whatsoever, you are treated just like somebody who was born in the US here. The only thing that you cannot do is that you cannot vote. That's the only thing. But for the most part, everything that somebody who was born in the US here can do, you can also do. You get job in a split of a second. Now, I don't know whether some of you have been following the geopolitics, whatever is happening with this new administration, where they are cutting federal workforce and all of those things. So now it is not advisable to rely solely on the H-1B visa. The H-1B visa, by the way, comes with a cap. I don't know if some of you know these terms that I'm mentioning, but please feel free and ask any question at all when I'm done. So because of the caps placed on the H-1B visa system, it is always good to start exploring other ways to circumvent that. And one of the ways is the green card. Because once you have your green card, it's green card. There's nothing anybody can discriminate you against. I have a colleague here who did his postdoc. He actually did his master's in Belgium, came here and did his PhD, finished and did his postdoc, and finished. After that, he worked as a research scientist. Now, the period for his research scientist has elapsed, and the guy is looking for a job. He has applied for numerous jobs. He's qualified, but unfortunately, they can't offer him because he doesn't have work authorization or residency. So that is some of the problems. You don't want to get yourself into that. So I just want to share, I want to go to the website quickly. I saw that Freeman was sharing something. I want to go to the website and walk you through some of these things that I'm talking about. Can I share my screen? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think I'm seeing the sharing icon here. All right. So can you see this? Is it visible?
Okay. Yeah, now it's visible. You can see.
You can see. It's visible.
All right, great. Okay, so now when we talk about a green card, now the US immigration system is massive, it's huge, and you need to get somebody who understands it to, walk you through. There are many categories, and for the most part, for people like you, there are two main categories that you actually could qualify and could self-sponsor yourself. I know for the most part, for many years, we've been told that, oh, it's not easy to get a green card or become a permanent resident in the United States. If you need to become a permanent resident, then you must get a company that will have to sponsor you. That's the old fashion, that's the old system that we know. And because of that, that's, inadvertently scares people from even trying. However, there's a good news. There are some of them that you can do what we call self-sponsor. You can say, okay, I think that I'm qualified, and for that matter, I'm going to self-sponsor myself. I don't need an institution to sponsor me, because the institutions do not actually want to do that, because if an institution is going to sponsor you, there's a huge amount of money involved that the institution has to pay. There's a lot of steps that the institution has to go through. And most of the recruiters, most of the companies, they don't want to go through that stress. If they can get a citizen or somebody with residency to recruit, why would they have to go through that stress for a foreigner? So that is why it makes sense for you to self-sponsor yourself. And one of the ways that, two of the ways actually, that you can self-sponsor yourself is through what we call the NIW EB2. That's one. And then the EB1A. Now, I want to first talk about the NIW EB2. The EB2 means second preference category. All right. I want to first talk about that before I go to the EB1, because the EB1 actually is very hard to get. That's what they call the Albert Einstein visa. It's for people with extraordinary ability in their fields. You must demonstrate certain level of accomplishments that is deemed as extraordinary in your field. And when I say in your field, it means wherever you find yourself. If you are a researcher in wastewater treatment, you must be able to demonstrate that the accomplishment that you have garnered over the years is extraordinary and throughout the world. And people recognize that. And you must have other researchers from top institutions vouch that, yes, I know Mr. Elisha, he's done, he's an inventor of this, he pioneered this field, and this has become, state of the art in the field. And for that reason, I support his application. You must get people to vouch on your behalf, and that's not just it. There are a lot of things, so we get there. But first of all, I want to talk about the EB2, which I know that for the most part, most of you, if not most, I mean, a handful of you will be qualified, and you can, start thinking about it. So the EB2, as I said, it technically means the second preference category. Now, what does it mean when we say second preference category? Now, the US, in its wisdom, many years ago, thought that, okay, now it's not only right for us to say that we want to bring people who are extraordinary. That's the EB1 category. Because it's not everybody that can say that he's extraordinary in his field. It's not that easy to be seen as an extraordinary, is somebody with an extraordinary ability. However, there are also other people who have certain skills that is useful to the United States, and we need those people. Even though they are not extraordinary, in their field, but they either have certain skill sets or they are doing certain research that is useful to the United States. And so we need those people. So those people are classified as second preference category. Second preference category. And so what does it mean? What are some of the eligibility criteria that you need to know? Good. Now, to be eligible for the NIW-EB2, there are two routes that you can be eligible. First is that you must have an advanced degree. You must be an advanced degree professional to be qualified. And the second is you must have an exceptional ability in your field. All right. Now, exceptional, let me just, mention this. Exceptional ability is different from extraordinary ability that I mentioned earlier on. Immigration lawyers will digress this. They will tell you the difference. So if you don't understand the difference, you can consult your dictionary. So the exceptional ability used here doesn't mean extraordinary ability. Okay. I've seen people denied because the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Service will tell you that, well, you have exceptional ability, not extraordinary ability. Okay. So when we say advanced degree professional, now basically advanced degree professional is someone who has either a master's degree or PhD degree. So if you have PhD degree or you have master's degree, you are already qualified for EB2. It's as simple as that. You see, you are qualified to submit an application, and your application will not be rejected. Your application will be reviewed. However, it doesn't mean that your application will be approved. So I understand the terms here. If you have master's degree or PhD degree, you are qualified through the advanced degree professional category to apply for EB2 green card. Now, there are some people who don't have master's degree and they do not also have PhD degree. But there's also a route for those people to be qualified to apply for the NIW EB2. Now, how can they be qualified? And that is through what we call the exceptional ability. That's the second route that one can be qualified. Now, what does it mean to have, exceptional ability? Now, there are about 10 criteria that USCI is looking for. And if you don't have, let's say, master's degree or a PhD degree, and you qualify for at least a minimum of 3 of these criteria, USCI deem that person as a person with an exceptional ability. And so, therefore, you are qualified to file for NIW EB2 green card. Now, let's walk through this 10 criteria that they are looking for. And let's see, as I walk through, okay, there are about 7. Is the other one that's about 10. For this one, there are about 7, okay? Now, as I walk through each of these, I'll try my best to explain them in the simplest of terms that I can. And it's left up to you to think about whether or not you qualify for at least a minimum of 3. Now, these are the 7 criteria that you need to qualify at least 3, not all the 7, 3, at least 3. You need to qualify for at least 3, provided that you don't have master's degree or PhD degree. You need to qualify for 3 of this in order to qualify to file for NIW EB2 green card. The first is official academic record showing that you have a degree, diploma, certificate, or similar award from a college, university, school, other institution of learning related to your area of exceptional ability. This is a plain language. And you don't need me to explain this, right? This is plain language. It's self-explanatory.
Yes.
Okay, the person doesn't have a master's degree. He doesn't have a PhD degree, but he has an undergrad degree provided by a recognized institution of learning. Simple. Simple, right? All right. The person doesn't have undergrad degree, but he has a diploma degree provided by a recognized institution of learning. Simple. So you don't need me to explain this much. Second, letters from current or former employers documenting at least 10 years of full-time experience in your occupation. This is so simple, right? Self-explanatory. All right. The person here, what USCI is saying is that another way to prove is that if you are able to show us evidence of 10 years of continuous work experience, and how can you show us this evidence? The evidence can be shown through recommendation letters from your past employers. So, okay, you worked in, let's say you worked in science and tech as a research scientist after your undergrad degree, as a senior research scientist for maybe 4 years, and you moved from that place to maybe Cocoa Board. You worked for 3 years as an extension officer, and then from Cocoa Board, you moved to maybe a certain confectionery industry, a chocolate producing industry, and you worked for 4 years. That's 10 years. Now, what USCI is saying here is that you must be able to provide letters, recommendation letters from these 3 institutions confirming that you have 10 years of continuous work experience. That is it. It's well explained, right? Are we together? The next point is a license to practice your profession or certification for your profession or occupation. Let me explain this. Now, there are people who find themselves in certain jobs that they need a license. Now, this is where the importance of having a license as a teacher in Ghana comes in. Somebody will say that I'm doing politics. I'm not doing politics. I'm apolitical. I'm not a politician. Okay, so I'm not doing politics here. But I've heard people talk about, sometimes I hear scholars disagree that teachers in Ghana, writing licensure exams doesn't make sense. Sometimes when you are making that argument, I want you to think that don't limit your argument to only Ghana. Okay, I'm not doing politics. Please, I'm not doing politics. We are intellectuals here discussing. Now, you see where the importance of having a license, because in the US here, any field or almost every field that you find yourself, there's a license. To become a professional engineer, you need to have a license, and that's what we call the PE, a license to practice. To become a medical doctor, there's you finishing, what do we call it? Medical school doesn't make you a professional to practice. You must have a license. To be a teacher here, just by finishing a college of education or having a university degree in education, you cannot get a job. And I mean, my wife is a professional teacher from Ghana. In the US here, I have my colleague who brought his wife here, and the wife was a teacher in Ghana. He wanted to continue teaching. He has to take their licensing exams. So license matters. Okay, so that's just by the way. Let me not dwell on this too much. So what they are saying is a license to practice your profession or certification for your profession or occupation. So there are certain people who have license from their field of work. For example, if you're a teacher from Ghana, now you have a license. That license, you can use that as one way of your evidence. If you are, let's say, which other people also have licenses in Ghana? Medical doctors, I guess they have licenses, right? And nurses, right? Yes. If you're a nurse from Ghana, you have a license from a board, a license given to you from a board. That is one of the ways that you can use to prove your eligibility here. Okay. Now, the fourth point or the fourth way to prove your eligibility is evidence that you have commanded a salary or other remuneration of services that demonstrate your exceptional ability. Okay, so here what USCI is saying is basically that, okay, Another way that we can allow you to show proof that you have exceptional ability in your field is that if you're able to demonstrate to us that the salary that you command from your current job is so high, is significantly high, is beyond a certain threshold, and you are paid that high salary because of the exceptional skill that you have. So the company needs to pay you extra in order to hire you. It makes sense, right? Because if a company will pay you extra more than the average person in the company, then it means that you possess certain skill that the company cannot let go of. So that's what USCI is saying here, that if you can show us evidence that the salary that your company pays you is far more than the average salary in the company, then we will accept that as an exceptional ability. Now, it is up to you to show evidence. It is up to you to convince USCI to accept whatever you are saying. I always tell people that when it comes to writing your immigration petition, it's like doing an advertisement, okay? It is up to you to convince them that what you are saying is true and provide evidence. Now, the fifth point, not the fourth, I beg your pardon. The fifth point is membership in a professional association. Okay, so this is also self-explanatory, right? So if you're a member of any professional association, now USCI is saying that you can use that as evidence that you have exceptional ability. What are some of the professional associations in your field? There are numerous professional associations in so many fields. I think in our grade we have an association called, Justice, what's the name of that? IEA. What's the full name? International something, right? Association of Students in Agriculture. Something.
International Association, International Association of Students in Agriculture and Related Sciences.
And Related Sciences, thank you. Yeah, so that's an association. So if you belong to that association and you are a dues paying member, your membership is current, you can use that as evidence of exceptional ability. Now, but when I go to the other one, I'll show you some difference here. In the EB one, the associations like this will not be accepted. So, but for EB2, it is accepted. Now, so let's look at the sixth point. Now, the sixth point says that recognition for your achievement and significant contribution to your industry or field by your peers, government entities, professional, or business organizations. So now let me explain this. But with this one, I'm going to use an example of being a researcher to explain this because I'm a researcher. So it's easier for me to explain using that as an example. Now, let's say you are a researcher, okay? And you've published in quite a number of papers in your field. You've made extraordinary contributions. You pioneered certain field. You did some research that was never done before, and out of that, people have cited your work. Now, you can use that to satisfy this point: recognition for your achievement and significant contribution. Now, this recognition could be in the form of maybe awards of patents, or awards from any institution or organization based on your research that was awarded to you solely based on what I would call maybe extraordinary ability, or high impact research, or whatever the terms may be. Now, somebody will say, oh, I don't have any of these awards, so does it mean that I cannot satisfy this point? Hell no, you can. You can actually certify this point. You can just use the fact that you publish papers, and then you have people write recommendation letters. You have other scientists in top positions write recommendation letters affirming that, yes, I know Justice. Justice is the pioneer of, Justice is the pioneer of, fluoride dissociation in water. This has never been done before. He's the first person who proved that, in fact, fluoride can actually dissociate into hydrogen fluoride. This has never been done, and this has improved our understanding in the field and is making waves. So many people are now exploring this new phenomenon that was never known until his studies. You see, you can have people write something like this, and that's a powerful testimony that people in your field have recognized your ability. Now, the last but not the least is other comparable evidence of eligibility is also accepted. Now, what the USCI is basically saying here is that, okay, there are people that they have some sort of exceptional ability that cannot fall under any of these categories. So they are giving you the opportunity to put all those ones under the heading comparable evidence of eligibility. Mind you that out of this 7, you only need to satisfy the minimum is 3. You just need to satisfy just 3 of them in order to qualify. Just 3. Okay. Now, from my presentation here, it looks pretty simple, but it's not as simple as that. It's not just, it doesn't remain there. It doesn't mean that when you satisfy just, the 3, you are automatically qualified. No. There's still a lot more work for you to do. And let me see. Oh, good. So can you still see my screen? I hope it's still showing.
Yes. Yeah, you can see.
Okay. So now, after you've satisfied this 3 eligibility, criteria, provided that you didn't have master's degree or PhD degree. But the person with master's or PhD degree automatically, skips this long list of criteria because he is going to apply on the basis of a person with advanced degree. So to this, you need to satisfy 3 of this minimum criteria if you don't have an advanced degree. However, whether you have an advanced degree or not, in the second stage of your application, you will still have to satisfy these 3. So you see, there's no way you can actually run away from these 7 prompts. So now, once you satisfy these 3 criteria, the second stage is evidence that you are well positioned to advance your endeavor. So USCI wants you to prove to them that you did not just satisfy the 3 criteria on a plain language terms, but you're also well positioned to advance your field. Now, maybe your field may be proposing as a research scientist, in wastewater treatment. You have to show evidence that you are well positioned to advance the field in a significant way. Now, it's up to you. I don't know how you are going to show your evidence, but one thing I can assure you is that if you are able to satisfy, if you check all these 7 prompts that I mentioned earlier, I walked you through earlier, and you can satisfy at least 3 of them, you can prove it is easier for you to satisfy this, to show evidence that you are well positioned to advance your endeavor. Now, after that, you also need to sorry, I think I skipped one. Good. So I skipped this one. So the first thing after the 3, you've satisfied the 3, is evidence that your endeavor has substantial merit and national importance. And this one is easy to prove it. Now, USCI wants you to show or to prove to them that your field of research or whatever you are doing is of national importance to them. These people, if you are here, you often hear the words national important, national important. They don't believe that bringing somebody here who will not make any meaningful contribution to their national interest is worth it. So they want you to show evidence that whatever you are doing is of a need to the United States government. It's of a need to the United States government. Okay? All right. So that's the substantial merit and national importance. And then I've talked of, the fact that you are well positioned to advance your endeavor. And this actually is about your skill and your expertise. The other one, national importance, was about what you have done. Is it, or your field, is it important to the US? your specific work, is it important to the US? But now here it's talking about yourself, your expertise, your skill sets. What skill set do you have to advance the field in a significant way? After that, the last one is that on a balance, it will be beneficial to the United States to waive the job offer, and that's the permanent labor certification requirement. So, sorry, this is a bonus point. So if you are able to satisfy the first two that I mentioned, this one is bonus. You just write English here and they will approve it. You don't need to do much work. Once you're able to satisfy the first two, this one is easy. You just tell them that, okay, well, I've proven to you that I am well positioned to advance the field and that my field is of substantial importance and national merit. So based on this, based on XYZ reasons, I believe that on a balance, it will be beneficial to the United States to waive the job offer and the requirement for labor certification in my case. And then you are done. You submit your application and you wait to hear from them. So if you are submitting your application, there are two ways to submit the application. We have the what do you call it? We have the premium methods and we have the normal method. If you want to submit on the premium process, it's very expensive. The filing fee is about $4,000. So you can do the maths, you can do your exchange rate calculation. That's a lot of money if you're in China. If you want to submit through the regular process, the application fee is around $1,015. So that's quite low. That's quite manageable. So if you are also, and if you want to reach out to a lawyer to file your EB2 for you, I think the minimum they will charge you is $4,500 before they will file for you. You can also do self-petition. You can petition this yourself. If you think that you are capable of, you are very good, you are somebody who is very good at writing, embellishing, language, you can petition yourself. You can also reach out to private writers. There are also private writers who assist you in the writing, and those people will charge less. So now let me stop sharing and then I'll walk you through the EB1. I started with the EB2 because I know most of you are qualified for the EB2. If you have a master's degree and you have, let's say, about 5 or more than 5 publications, you have few citations, I believe that you are qualified to file for EB2 petition. Yeah. If you have a master's degree and you have about 5 or more publications, they are well cited, you have some few citations, I believe that you are qualified to apply for EB2. This is my personal experience that I'm sharing with you. Okay, so let me stop sharing and then I'll talk briefly on the EB1. I know most of you are not qualified for EB1. It's pretty difficult to get approved for EB1, but I would like to walk you through that too. Okay. 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 Can you see the screen?
Yeah, you can see.
Okay, I know
Yes,
I know
please.
I know it's getting late in China, so I'm going to be very snappy, very brief here. I know that it's a little past 10 p.m. and people will be dozing by now. But hey, I tell you, this is your life, this is your future. So okay, so let me sorry.
No, I think someone unmute himself.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's just walk briefly through the EB1. So the EB1, as I mentioned, is basically what they call the Albert Einstein visa, Albert Einstein green card. And it's for people, if you know Einstein, I mean, which I believe everybody knows Einstein, the best brain of the 20th century, right? So, and what USCI is saying is that this visa category is for people with extraordinary ability in their field, people who belong to the top 1% in their field. Now, there are so many ways that, for example, if you're a researcher or a research scientist, there are so many ways that you can show that you belong to the top 1% in your field. There are numerous institutions that does ranking of scientists. We have the Stanford ranking, and Stanford basically they rank people who are classified under the top 2% in their field. So if you're someone that, you know, maybe one day you woke up and then you saw your name in the Stanford, you know, list of ranking, and you know you are listed among the top 2% scientists in your field. Praise God. That's great. You know, that becomes your starting point. You can use that to show evidence as your starting point, even though that's not the only document you need. But that's still something great. You can also do your own statistics, your own maths, maybe just based on your Google Scholar citations. Maybe if you're somebody, you have a lot of citations, you have, you know, 800 citations, you have 1,000 citations, you have 2,000 citations, you have 20 published research articles. You know, you can do some statistics using, you know, data from Scopus and other websites to do the math and show that, hey, I have this body of citations and that represents, you know, belonging to the top 5%, you know, top 2%, and all of that to show evidence that you have extraordinary ability. You can also have people who have cited your research actually confirm through recommendation letters or testimony, or what they call testimony letters, that look, we know we don't know Justice in person, but hey, we've relied on one of his research where he developed a solid methodology on how to, you know, quantify a new bacteria strain. And we are a company, we are not researchers, but that his methodology that he developed was what we relied on and developed our new material, which is in the market today. So, you know, that is a good way of showing that somebody has an extraordinary ability. If you can have a third party actually testify that the work that you've done has benefited them in a way. You know, the US government believes that research should not just sit in shelves, right? You should not just do, it shouldn't be like what is happening in Ghana. If you go to Ghana, most of our libraries, you have thousands of undergraduate research work, and most of them were literally copied from online, and they're sitting on the shelves. And I mean, after some years, they just, it becomes too much. They box everything and they burn it. That's not research. It should be something that benefits, and it's not just, you know, just writing stories and publishing. It should be something that benefits someone. Okay, so in my case, you know, I did some research in the past, and I had some company from Iran, or whatever you call it, that is into wastewater processing, and they actually use whatever we developed for one of their membranes, you know, separation. So that was a good testimony. So when I reached out to the company and I requested that you know, hey, I'm just looking for a confirmation. I've seen this that you're using your company. Looks like something that I worked on and developed some years ago. Can you confirm that you got this idea from this work? And they were pretty, you know, frank. They were like, yes, picked it from this. Is it your work? I said, yeah. Okay, can you give me this letter? And they were very upfront. They were like, yes, we can. So it was, you know, good for me. So if you can do that, you know, you have, it may not necessarily be a company, you know, it could just be, it could also be a fellow research scientist or a professor, you know, who relied on your methodology to develop a grant and won that grant. You know, that professor can give you a recommendation letter testifying that, you know, you have an extraordinary ability. But there are also 10 prongs that at least you need to satisfy 3 of these 10 prongs. And so, and under the EB1A, there are 3 categories. So in your case, you cannot file under outstanding professor because you are not a professor. You cannot file as being from certain multinational manager or executive. This is for people who are like, let's say in Ghana, somebody who's like the MD of Ghana Commercial Bank, managing director of Ghana Commercial Bank. However, if you're a managing director of Ghana Commercial Bank and you were politically appointed and you cannot show proof or evidence, the fact that you are a managing director of Ghana Commercial Bank does not automatically make you somebody with extraordinary ability under multinational manager. No. You see, when you read all these things, you see they specify them. These people, they are very smart because they know that people can get through certain positions through political appointment, and then they come and say that they are qualified. So they try to filter all those. So, and they'll even tell you that footballers who are playing for top leagues like Chelsea, Manchester United, are not necessarily qualified. You have to show extraordinary ability in your football career, progressive extraordinary ability in order to be qualified. And yes, if you go to the the OAA website, you'll see even a lot of footballers, top global footballers who applied under this visa category and they were denied. People playing for is it Tottenham, something, you know. I've seen one like that, and they were, I'm not a football fan anyway. That may also be surprising to you that a young man like me, I'm not. So I stopped watching football the day Asamoah Gyan lost that penalty. So that's just by the way, fun fact. Because I was so upset that I didn't eat. So I don't want to get heartbreak, you know. So let's go through the career. So these are the prongs, the 10 prongs that you need to qualify, at least 3 of them, in order to file under the EB1 category. One is, let me just walk through them quickly. One is evidence of receipt of lesser or nationally or internationally recognized prize or award for excellence. Hey, the truth is that you cannot claim that you qualify for this because this one, what they're actually looking for is awards like Nobel laureates or MacArthur Prize. Now, in the US here, or presidential award for best scientist. You see, now, I mean, the truth is, I don't know the audience very well, but I can assure you that out of the over 60 people online here, we may not have anybody who can claim that he qualifies for this. And I don't advise you to ever pick. I have sometimes some people, you know, send me their draft. And the moment I see this, I tell them that, my brother, your petition will be rejected upon arrival. Because here, this one now is different from the one, the EB2 that we're talking of. Okay? This one is different. This one, they are looking for prizes that are nationally recognized, or sorry, internationally recognized. And in the equivalent of such prizes, Nobel laureate, or MacArthur Prize, or a presidential award for best scientist in the US here, which is the highest, especially in the field of engineering or STEM. So they want somebody. So if you have received that kind of prize, USCI is saying that then you could be automatically qualified for the EB1 green card. Now, they call it one-time award. Now, if you have never received this, then we have 9 of them. You should be qualified for at least 3 of these 9. Number 1 is evidence of your membership in associations in the field, which demand outstanding achievement of your members. Now, I've also had people send draft to me, and they show that they are members of what do you call it? ACS. I hope most of you know ACS, American Chemical Society, right? Now, that's not correct. Now, American Chemical Society is a fee-paying association. For you to belong there, you have to pay dues. Now, USCI is not looking for that. USCI is looking for associations that you get there through appointment by merit, not by your self-choice. You see that? So that's the difference. So if you are a member of ACS or IAS or whatever association where you pay dues. No, it cannot fall under this. This is different. Now here they are looking for an association like let's say American Academy of Engineers. You know, for you to belong to American Academy of Engineers, you must go a process what they call elected. You must be elected by the body, and you have no control over it. The body every year they scoop through the internet, and then they see people who have actually made series of inventions, and then they elect them into. So it's a distinguished organization. So, and I think one other thing that I recently saw. One young scientist who was qualified for this was, I don't know if some of you know Sigma X. Sigma X. Sigma X is actually a scientific body that also elects people based on merit. So this friend of mine, his professor was elected based on her distinguished service into Sigma X. He was inducted into Sigma X. And when you are elected into Sigma X as a distinguished member, you have one option, one choice to invite one more person. And so this professor invited her student, and her student happened to be my colleague here. Who the professor believed he was hardworking and had published a lot. So when he got elected into Sigma X, that was a good opportunity for him to file. And actually, when I read his petition, I told him upfront that it would be approved. And when it went, it was approved. So those are the examples. Now, one other evidence is evidence of a published material about you in the professional or major trade publications or other major media. Now, basically, what they are talking about is that if, let's say you did a research, you published the research, and your research became a news item. Your research was so good that, it got news coverage. Media house, reported news articles on your research. Now, that's what USCI is looking for. Evidence that you have been asked to judge the work of others, either individually or on a panel. Now, this is where the catch is. I know most of you, maybe you've either gotten invitations to review papers for journals, but you often turn it down. You see, that now is important. USCI, you can use that to show evidence. So if you have ever reviewed for journals, if you have ever reviewed papers for journals, you can use that as one of your evidence. So that means that you were a judge. Or maybe you were involved in a certain competition and you were a judge. You can use that as evidence. But the best way to prove this prong is serving as a reviewer or an editor of a journal. Okay. Evidence of your original scientific, scholarly, artistic, athlete, or business-related contribution of major significance to the field. Now, this prong, honestly, is very difficult to achieve. It's really hard. It's one of the hardest to prove. Here, what USCI is basically saying is that you should show evidence that you have an original publication. Now, the word original is very difficult to prove. But it's easy to prove if you have been granted a patent. You see? And that's so in China, it's easy to file for a patent and get approved. I hope most of you know that. So if I were you, I'll quickly write this down and take an advantage. It doesn't matter where the patent was approved. It doesn't matter where the patent was actually approved. So China patent approval is pretty easy. It's one of the easiest. Far more easier than getting a paper published. So if I were you, I'll take advantage of this. Make sure that whatever research I do, I will file for a patent and get it approved. Yeah. A patent is a patent. It doesn't matter where it was approved. Now, so that's one of the easiest way of showing that your research was original. Other than that, or another way is the one that I mentioned earlier on, where you have institutions that have adopted your methodology or have used your product that you develop. These are the easiest ways to show evidence. Now, evidence of your authorship of scholarly articles in professional or major trade publications. So this is by far one of the easiest. So this one, and then the reviewer. Now here, what USCI is saying is that if you have published a paper before, you have authorship of scholarly articles. If you have published a paper before, you automatically satisfy. You just need to show evidence that you've published. I was the author of XYZ paper, and then you have qualified for this prompt. Now, the next one is evidence that your work has been displayed as artistic. Now, notice that this thing is not only for researchers, it's for everybody. So some of the prompts may not actually apply in your case. Now here, USCI is saying that there are artists, right? There are artists who craft, things. So if you're an artist and your craft work has actually been displayed in an exhibition show, then it means that you have an extraordinary ability in that field. So this doesn't apply to most of you. Evidence of your performance of a leading or critical role in a distinguished organizations. Okay, so now here, what USCI is saying is that if you have ever worked for an institution that could be deemed as a leading or distinguished institution, then you can show evidence. Now, how do you show evidence? Let's say before going to China, you worked as a research scientist in institution like UDS or Tech or Legon. These are distinguished institutions or leading institutions. You can use that to show evidence. All you need is just to get someone that you work under to give you. It's not, TA, no, TA, they will not approve. Research scientist, or you were a lecturer before, or you worked in, I'm a little biased because I'm academic. I use, or maybe you worked in any other institution. Maybe you were a project manager or an extension officer. You can use that to show proof. It depends on how you write and how you, I always say that filing for these things is like doing marketing, being a marketing officer. It is up to you to market your product well. Or it's like proposing to a lady. I know some of the guys like this one. It's like proposing to a lady. You don't want to go to a lady in your West form, right? You want to tell the lady that you are in fact, you are this, you are that, all those your antics. So you have to deploy it here. You don't want to give the impression, okay, just by saying, okay, I was an extension officer for MOFA. What is that? USCI will not approve it. Another person says that, I worked for MOFA, as an extension officer. I was involved in 10 projects. My work impacted about 1,000 farmers or 100 farmers, and through me, these farmers, the next year got a yield of about, a yield improvement of about 60%, and then you show evidence of all these things. USCI is going to read and they are going to, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's saying. But just saying that, I was an extension officer in MOFA, I worked for 3 years, and I resigned. They don't care. That doesn't send any serious message. So the next is evidence of your authorship of, okay, I think I've mentioned that. Oh, sorry, I've mentioned this one too. So we are on the critical role, which I just finished, by the way. Evidence that you command high salary or other significantly high remuneration in relation to others in the field. Now, notice that when they say remuneration here, if you are going to claim evidence, if you are going to claim that you satisfy this prompt, then you must write it in nominal terms. Okay. When I say nominal terms, what I mean is that if you are going to convert the Ghana cedis to US dollar, then I can bet you that even the president of Ghana, his salary is nothing. Will be nothing, will not qualify for this prompt. So what you do is that you write it in nominal terms. You don't do any conversion. Nominal terms. Just show that, okay, I was working in Ghana as research scientist and I was paid 10,000 Ghana cedis. And now 10,000 to receive a salary of 10,000 Ghana cedis is among the top 1% high income earners in the country. Then you show evidence of the minimum, the exchange rate, sorry, the minimum, what do you call it? Not exchange rate. There's a term. Where are the economists? The minimum, sorry? Good. Good, thank you. The minimum wage. Good, thank you, my brother. The minimum wage. So you show evidence of the minimum wage in the country, you use those ones as your evidence to support your claim, to actually show that the vast majority of people do not earn a salary up to 5,000 or so. So that's just by the way. So yeah, so this is the last point. Evidence of your commercial success in performing art. This doesn't apply to any of us here. So I think yeah, Justice, I'm just summarizing. That's all. Examples of documentary evidence that a person is outstanding. So this doesn't apply. So pretty much what I just mentioned is what actually you need. And then you now develop it into a big petition, which we can talk about later, which is there's a lot of technical jargons involved. So with that, I think I'll pause here. And if there are, I know it's getting late in China. If there are questions that I can address, I will like to take that.
Oh,
Oh
all right.
wow!
Thank you very much.
I'm seeing some of my big men online. I see my
Yeah.
brother Charles Sakia.
Yeah, Dr. Charles has joined.
Yeah, Dr. Charles is online.
Mr. Richmond is here. I think
Yeah, I
Mr. Felix
see.
is also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I would open the floor for questions. Honorable members, this is what we have. Most of us didn't even know that whilst you are in China or you are in Ghana or wherever you are, you can apply for green card. So now that we've been elucidated with this information, let's open up and try to ask questions pertaining to that, and maybe we can start applying, or some of the tips that have been given to us, we
Yes,
can
my
start
advice. Let me
working on.
interject, Justice. My advice is, look, and I want you to understand this, that I've used about quite significant amount of my time to do this. It's
Yeah.
not for anything. It's just for the love of my people there.
Sure.
Just help as many people as I can. So if this is not worth it, I wouldn't even come here. And so my advice to most of you is to give a try. Give a trial.
Yeah.
Give a trial. This is, in fact, being outside of the US and getting your green card approved. Think of it. When people in Ghana apply for this lottery and they win, it's like all hell loose. Think of the celebration. It's a big feat. So think of it that you are in Ghana, and then all of a sudden, they see you packing your baggage that you are traveling to the US on a green card. You don't need to go to the embassy for a visa. You come here, you get to the ports, the gates, and no immigration officer will have to query you or interview you, because you are a permanent resident, and you come here, you don't struggle for a job. So my advice to you guys is, please give it a try. The Nigerians are making good use of this. I have a lot of Nigerians that I have helped them, and they've had their green card approved. That's one thing I like about Nigerians. They make good use of every single smallest opportunity. Now the lottery has been canceled. By the way, how many people even get approved for lottery? Lottery, a lot of people win it, but because of backlog, they can't even go for interview. And once the year elapsed, that's all, So my advice to most of you is that give it a trial, give it a shot. You never can tell. You can just do, and then your I-140 will be approved, and hallelujah, you are gone. So that's it.
Okay. Yeah, so someone is asking, how long does it take for processing of the EB2?
Yeah, great question. And I think this person asking this question probably already has some understanding of this process because that's a technical question. Yeah, so the EB2, if you are from Ghana, it depends on the country that you are coming from. So people like us from Ghana takes somewhere around 2 years, I would say 2 to 3 years. So 2 to 3 years, and then you have your green card. But the EB1 can take less than a year. Because with the EB1, you don't have your priority date is always current. And when I say priority date, basically the date that you can, if your I-140 is approved, and you want to adjust to your I-485. So EB1 is always current, but with EB2, there's a small backlog. And so if you're from Ghana, around if you file for an EB2 around 2 to 3 years. I don't want to over impress you, so that's why I'm just saying 2 to 3 years. I don't want to say 1 year and somebody do, and then it will not work, and you'll be like, okay, this guy didn't say the truth. 2 to 3 years. Just give yourself 2 to 3 years, and I think you should have your green card.
Okay. So one question that I would like to ask is, based on the technicalities of what you've explained so far, being the first time to apply for these things, I think there will be some kind of technical things that people may encounter. So is there a way someone can reach out to you or something that in case they want to start or something, there could be an assistance? I think people would want to know so that if they want to give it a try, they can reach out to you or something.
Yeah, sure. I'm always, ready to help, share my experience, with anyone. So feel free if you want to reach out, for me to share my experience with you. I'm always available. You can pass through Justice, and reach out to me, and I'll be more than glad, to help. So the truth is that doing these things as a first timer is very daunting. There's a steep curve involved, and it could be very frustrating. But if you have somebody who understands the process and the person is willing to assist you, walk you through it, it's pretty smooth and straightforward. So I see that Freeman is back. Freeman, you can try, you and your wife, so that next time you come to the US, no immigration officer will stop you.
It's true. I
If
am
you want to come
interested.
for vacation or you want to even switch jobs, there's nothing good like being a multinational person, You
You
have
don't
the
have to
leverage
talk
to-
much. You don't have to talk much.
Yeah.
The truth is that the EB1, the one with the masters and all that, I'm interested because both of us already have masters.
Yeah.
First, I want to propose a business to you in front of everyone so that it will not be like I did it backdoor. You should create a website. Even though you're not a lawyer, immigration, blah, 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 you are someone who assists with information. Create a website and launch it, let people pay, and then you take them through this information and this thing for your services. Look, people are charging $4,500. If you charge $500, it's enough. Whatever, that's my proposal. Think about it. You don't have to decide now.
Well, yeah, thanks for that.
Second, let me ask my second question so that you put everything together. My second question is, you talked about the one with the master's degree and all that.
Yeah.
But I switched off a bit. So first, if I have a master's degree, do I still have to meet those three exceptional eligibility criteria that you mentioned, or do I already automatically qualify for it?
Good. So that's a very good question, and that means that you are actually following. So the thing is, so the application is in stages. So if you have a master's degree, automatically you are qualified to file for EB2. You see, you are qualified to file for EB2. However, that doesn't mean that if you are qualified, you automatically your application will be approved. You need to show or to convince the immigration officer why your petition should be approved. Mind you, this is a petition. So, and the way to show proof of that is by showing proof that, hey, even though I have a master's and I don't need to show proof that I qualify for any of this exceptional criteria, still, I want to show you that I still qualify for at least 3 of this. And based on my experience, anybody that has master's degree, it is not a big deal for the person to show evidence that he qualified for at least 3 of the criteria. No, I've never seen that. Based on my experience of, helping people, anybody with master's degree already automatically qualifies for at a minimum of 4. Because one, association is so easy. You have an association in Agric, right? Agree. You
Yeah.
can, even if you're not a member, you want to do it, you can just go and pay and join that association today and get a membership certificate. 2, you have publications, and you can have, 4 people, maybe your former advisors or even colleagues who are now, researchers or anywhere, give 2 or 3 recommendation letters attesting that, hey, Freeman did this research. He actually used this model, and this model has never been used to quantify this particular thing, maybe soybean efficiency or whatever, those your economic terms. He was the first person who did this, and this has improved our understanding. That is great. That already will qualify for 2. So by the time you are done, you see that even you have satisfied for about 5 of those prompts, and that gives you a huge leverage. And like I said, the EB2 is not that difficult to get approved. It's not. And I'm telling you, there are some people that got approval. If I mention to you here, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked, I'm telling you. And those guys are Nigerians. So that's why for the Nigerians, I like them. They will go into every hole to take advantage of any opportunities. People say they are aggressive, but I don't see that. I don't think they are aggressive. I think they are just ready to make good use of any opportunity. Ghanaians are very dull. Very, really, really dull. So, well, maybe I think it's also because of where we're coming from. Maybe I
No,
think.
I mean you are absolutely right, especially
Yeah,
with this scholarship that I'm doing.
yeah, exactly. So
I experienced that dichotomy as well,
yeah,
and I try
like
to encourage
and I
you.
like them. They are very sharp. You'll be like, "Oh, Baba, this thing you talk about, it is sweet my ears. So can you repeat it?
The next day he will
Where you
already
can,
apply.
you can help me, Baba. You have to." So they are ready to go any length. They are ready, and I have a lot of Nigerians that have come to me, and today they've approved. They are excited. They are happy. Some of them have even one guy. He did his adjustment of status, and his green card came, I think, last 2 months. Yeah, his green card has come. Well, but he did the EB1A. So I have to. He did the EB1A, and that's difficult to get up. But he did the EB1A. We did a fantastic job. He was approved. And, today he's the most happiest person. Sometimes he'll call me and he'll say, Baba, forget my professor. Even if he say he will not graduate me, I don't care.
I don't care. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
And I guess Lambongang and Che is Che even here. He was here. All
Jay
of
was
them.
here. I don't know whether he has left or not.
So it's
But look, this is golden information. Like when I
yeah.
call golden information, and serious, even me, I didn't know about this. Oh my God. So please, thank you very much. And we will work after this, huh? Me and my wife.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so what I would say is that based on the suggestion, I think, Mr. Lassan, what we can do is that we can have a WhatsApp page where, because maybe creating a website and some people may not be able to reach out and all those things, but
Yeah,
if
so
we can use, okay,
so what I would say is that you can create a WhatsApp page. Anybody that reaches out to you, we can have a WhatsApp page. So to also save my time, it's easier, when you are sharing information with a large group of people than attending to individual. With
yeah.
that, you share the information and everybody benefits. Other than attending to Kwesi today, Kwapna tomorrow, that's really time demanding.
Okay, so what I think we are going to start from there. We can create a WhatsApp page, and everyone that is interested, we can add a person, and we can have maybe a session. Maybe we can book a day or something, some hours, and then we can walk us through. So that it wouldn't be like we are going to be attending to everyone. like individually, but you are going to attend as a group. Whether you are going to have maybe Zoom like this, and then we work step by step, or probably you can have a WhatsApp chat group chat, maybe within a space of time, and then all the procedures will be taught over there. And then I think that would be cool for us. So from here, those of us that will reach out to me, I will try to gather all of us, and then we can create a WhatsApp page and we can take it from there. I think it's very, very good and valuable information that you've given us. Thank you very much. Honorable members, if you have any other question, I think time is fast spent. So we are going to create a WhatsApp page where these info, okay, do you need a residence as in where to leave the USA part of the application? So I think this one is very vital. You need to address it.
Need the residence as in where to live the
I
US.
think regarding the application process, if you have to use an address or something.
Okay. I get what the person. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, not necessarily. But the advice is that if you to make the process seamless for yourself, it's always good that you use maybe somebody who's residing here address. And the reason is that so let me put this way. It is not a law that you should always use an address in the US here. And USCI, they don't care. They know that people apply from overseas, okay? And they totally understand that. And that has no effect on your application. However, to make the application seamless for yourself, okay, and to make it easy so that you can receive your documentation, it's always good for you to use maybe someone's address here, so that if USCI send a mail, within 2 or 3 days, the person will receive the mail and let you know the content of it.
Okay.
You see? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is for your own good, not, it doesn't have any effect or impact on the application. Right now, there's somebody from China that we are helping. It's a research, it's a postdoc that we are helping. He's using someone's address here in the US. And when they sent it, I think he did a premium. In a matter of 15 calendar days, he got a decision, the letter was sent into the mail. They opened it and then they took a screenshot, sent it to him. And that was it. But if USCI is going to send an out-of-state mail, that may take, some time before it gets to you. You know how this international mailing works. So to make it seamless for yourself, it's always good to use somebody. Listen.
Okay, so I think that's okay. We are going to take it from here. So I've pinned down my WhatsApp number. Anyone that is interested in applying and would need further information, kindly chat me on WhatsApp so that we can create a WhatsApp page for this process. And also, Mr. Freeman also has the YouTube page. I think he pinned it down on the comment section, Freeman Lamy. So please try to subscribe and get more information on the scholarship application process. It's not only about the scholarship. He also tries to also inform people about job postings in Europe and other places. So you can also do that. Yeah. So on this note, I would like to thank you, Mr. Lassan and Mr. Freeman, for your time and everything. So the YouTube page is it's being projected, so you can subscribe to the page and then you can get more information. At this point, we have a very special session that we are going to do. So Mr. Freeman, Dr. Manzi, and Honorable Bright, we have something for you. So I will do it quickly. Then after that, we can bring this program to a close. So with your, your support and everything, we reached out to you and we realized that the connectivity is there, the willingness to support our brothers and sisters at different places, and with your experience, your willingness to help everyone to also get to where you are is something that is very good. So we decided to do something small for our presenters. So I would like to read to everyone, then we can also use this platform to appreciate all our speakers. I mean, we really appreciate your efforts. I mean, I know how busy you are, Dr. Manzi, Mr. Bright, Mr. Freeman. All of you are very engaged. Sometimes we even reach out to each other once in a while, because sometimes we are all busy here and there, but the connectivity is very good. So I would like to read this citation in appreciation of this is presented to Mr. Freeman Akaribo Inso on behalf of the joint NUGS chapter of Changsha, Beijing, Taiyuan, and Nanchang. We extend our deepest gratitude for your exceptional participation as a guest speaker at our recent academic seminar under the theme Academic Opportunities Abroad. Your insightful reflection on preparing for the application process to pursue further studies abroad have provided invaluable guidance to our academic community. Your narrative of your academic career from University for Development Studies to your significant research at Lebanese Center for Agricultural Landscape Research, Munchimberg, provided practical insight and motivated the audience to strive for greatness and adopt global ideas with confidence and resolve. Your insights on research, inventiveness, self-assurance, and resilience in pursuing international study opportunities profoundly impacted participants, inspiring them to broaden their academic endeavors. Your influential presence and considerate participation enhanced the seminar. We are deeply grateful for the time and effort you devoted to making this event successful. So, Mr. Freeman, this is something small for you to appreciate your time and your support and everything. We
Thank you so much.
really appreciate your time. We know we are all busy, but for you to have this time to be with us, we appreciate you so much. Okay, next is citation of appreciation presented to Mr. Alassane Isaka Sikpam. So on behalf of the joint NUGS chapters of Changsha, Beijing, Taiyuan, and Nanchang, we extend our deepest gratitude for your exceptional participation as a guest speaker at our recent academic seminar under the theme Academic Opportunities Abroad. Your engaging discussions provided invaluable insight into the pathway for academic advancement and strategies for navigating opportunities abroad. By sharing your academic journey from Central South University to your impactful research, University of Florida, you offered practical wisdom and inspired the audience to pursue excellence and embrace global perspective with confidence and determination. Furthermore, your reflections on research, innovation, self-confidence, and being resilient when seeking further study opportunities abroad deeply resonated with participants, leaving them motivated to explore broader horizons in their academic pursuit. Your impactful presence and thoughtful engagement significantly enriched the seminar. We are deeply grateful for the time and efforts you devoted to making this event successful. So this is something small that we want to present to Mr. Alassane for your invaluable time and the presentation, giving us this information. I think from now, apart from the scholarship process that we are looking at, we are also going to be considering applying for the green card as soon as possible. And probably some of us that are not also having some qualifications like patent and other things, we can start working on them as soon as possible so that we can get those qualifications and try to also apply. So thank you so much, Mr. Alassane, for your time and everything. We really appreciate. And the last on the list is Dr. Charles Amanzi. So this citation of appreciation is presented to Dr. Charles Amanzi on behalf of the joint NUGS chapters of Changsha, Beijing, Taiyuan, and Nanchang. We extend our deepest gratitude for your exceptional participation as a guest speaker at our recent academic seminar under the theme Academic Opportunities Abroad. Your insightful reflections on preparing for the application process to pursue further studies abroad have provided invaluable guidance to our academic community. By sharing your academic journey from Central South University to your impactful research at Florida State University. You offered practical strategies and inspired participants to embrace global opportunities with confidence and determination. Your thoughtful engagement and dedication to empowering aspiring scholars significantly enriched the seminar's discussions. We are deeply grateful for the time and effort you devoted to making the event resounding success. So, fellow members, fellow NUGS members, honorable members, everyone, this is what we have for our great guests, because they've just inspired us a lot, and I think it's something that we are not taking it for granted. The information is key, that is imperative, and we are going to utilize this information in our subsequent applications and whatever that we intend to do. So, okay, let me look at the comment section. Okay, so someone says, kindly advise the designer to relocate the association logo to okay, to rather bottom logos normally for sponsors. Okay, next time we work on that. Okay, and then it's always not late to build your profile ahead of filing for the green card. I have seen people. Okay, so Mr. Lassan also pinned this. All right, so thank you very much, honorable members. And at this point, we are going to take a closing remarks from our NEC organizer, Honorable Eugene. So I would like to invite you to give us a closing remarks. And if there is any information coming from NEC, then we can bring the meeting to a close, because time is fast spent. So we need to expedite our process and we close as soon as possible. Honorable Eugene, if you are around, please kindly give us any information from NEC.
Okay, thank you, Honorable SG, for the opportunity. First of all, I bring you greetings from NEC. They appreciate your invitation, and they asked me to represent them since they were engaged in other meetings as such. I think from the beginning of the first training, education was given to us, and then it was helpful, and then now there's a top-up. So I think it's a good work. We thank the speakers for their time and insightful education. The only information which is available is that we have the AFBA conference coming on the Thursday and Friday. So NEC wish that we should try our very best to get our members to join. I think with this, that's the only information I have from NEC. And we appreciate the effort you are doing in the presenters. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Eugene, for that information. So on this note, I would like to say that the number is down there. If you want to, I've seen people reaching out to me. So if you want to reach out to me so that we can add you to the WhatsApp page, the number is already there. You can reach out now so that after we close the Zoom link, you won't miss it. All right. So at this point, I would like to call on Honorable Arama Aru to give us the closing prayer if we don't have any other thing to discuss. Honorable Arama. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Honorable.
Yeah, please let's pray. Okay, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for giving us this opportunity. We thank you for the lives of our speakers. We thank you that they got the strength, the knowledge, and then the resources to share with us what we need to be done and the things that we need to also succeed in life. We pray that whatever that has been discussed and whatever that we learned today, it will be put to a good use. And at the end of the day, we'll give you all the glory. We say thank you and we commit the rest of the evening and the rest of the day, wherever that we are located, in your hands. Take absolute control and do what only you can do. We thank you for an answered prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. So on this note, I would like to thank all of you, our guests, Mr. Lassan, Mr. Freeman, Dr. Manzi, and also I would like to thank the executives of NUGS Beijing chapter, NUGS Taiyuan chapter, and also NUGS Nanchang chapter executives. I would like to thank you all for organizing your members to join this program. I would like to also thank everyone that participated in this program, both in Ghana, China, and wherever that you find yourself. God bless you all, and may the Lord be with you. Okay, bye-bye.